Futures flipping back and forth here. S&P anyways flipping back and forth here between positive and negative. NASDAQ just going back to the negative side of things to start things off this morning as well. After being decently higher early on this morning in the pre-market, we've given it all back and then some. Ahead of more key economic data, not only on the inflation front, but on the growth side of things as well. We'll get a GDP reading coming up tomorrow morning at this time, and then PCE coming on Friday morning at this time as well. So market a little bit edgy ahead of both of those key numbers coming up this morning. There is a little bit of housing data to come later on this morning at 10 o'clock. We'll get new home sales. Outside of that, not a heck of a lot in the way of economic releases this morning. It's Wednesday, so we get the energy update data at 10:30. If anyone's watching crude oil, just keep that in mind. But a lot of individual names moving around here this morning. Yeah, NVIDIA back to the upside. We had FedEx earnings after the close yesterday. We'll touch on that a little bit. Not necessarily a trading type of stock, but it's a good gauge of the overall economy. So from that standpoint, key. Rivian as well, the big one. Just an absolute monster, not only after the close, but trying to get back to the upside right now, holding on to 1675. Good thing I got out at 1480 on that last earnings report. I mean, it's done a massive round trip all the way to get back here. But yeah, Volkswagen stepping in with Rivian.
Yeah, can't wait to see exactly what ends up happening here, but it's going to be a joint venture between the two, Brendo, and there's going to be some stuff that they share and some stuff that they don't. So the software specifically for EV is going to be shared, but some of the propulsion, some of the battery stuff, we're going to keep close to home. Yeah,
I mean, potential is absolutely massive with this. Volkswagen obviously tied in with Polestar as well on the electric side of things. So who knows what will come of this. Polestar not doing great at this point as far as the actual company is concerned. So we'll see. I wanted to bring up this real quick just as we get going here. The yen, Japanese yen, this is the lowest level for the yen versus the US dollar since 1986. As the Bank of Japan continues to step in to support the yen. I mean, if you remember over the past weeks and months, we've been talking with Frank over at IG about this 150 level USD yen. That has since been taken out and then some, all the way to 160 now on the yen. I mean, I was reading this morning, they've spent the equivalent of 86 billion propping up the currency over in that country. And this is just all comes back to the simple fact that interest rates are so far apart between the two countries, and there's no sign of that changing anytime soon.
And they're not going to stop, Brendo, because the Japanese finance minister came out this morning, their time obviously, and said they're going to continue to do what they need to do to prop up the currency and to keep things afloat. So it doesn't look like this is going to end anytime soon. We'll have to watch how it unfolds.
Crazy. Lots of people traveling to Japan these days, taking advantage of lower prices, but absolutely crazy. Long-term levels, guys, coming in for the end today.
Yeah, rates still matter. Welcome, everybody. As a matter of fact, yesterday, when we had Kevin O'Leary on, he was talking about how the Bank of Canada did their cut, and then we had higher inflation, so you can probably pump the brakes on even further cuts, at least in the short term here as well, which, you know, as always is going to affect things. But with the U.S. kind of, you're not going to get all the cuts that you wanted. We've already gone through that this year, obviously having an effect. That strong U.S. dollar, it's good in some ways, but I think everyone understands the ways in which it's bad. Not always the best thing for the markets, but you know what? At the end of the day, yesterday was a V-shaped recovery for a lot of stocks, and I think we're going over a bunch of them today. Excited for Micron earnings tonight, but you got NVIDIA shareholder meeting at noon. You've got Chipotle trading after its 1-for-50 split. You've got Carvana's within spitting distance of a 52-week high that it broke at the end of the day. Google broke a 52-week high. NVIDIA had that massive run yesterday. Rivian, obviously the news, is the biggest one, the biggest mover. But I will point it out, Polestar's up 4% today. Unfortunately for Polestar, that means it's at 71 cents, but, you know, you take the good where you can if you are Polestar. No, it's only because they were saying Polestar, Brendan kind of like punked Polestar like at the end. It was low-key, kind of threw it in there. I'm like, yeah, they're up a little bit today. They're not up 40% like Rivian, but they're up 4 points. But that chart's nasty. Nasty. They're going under.
I think it's also I mean, it should be good for Volkswagen here as well. I mean, we had this on the recap show last night, and when it took off, I was like, what? All the way up here. And we just had mentioned with Brian Shannon on the show that this is probably a decent area to sell something because we've already been up here before. When past support becomes resistance, obviously you'd like to see it hold again. So I feel, I don't know, I said that I would probably sell at least half. You guys know, I kept saying it over and over again that we're long in 11 and a quarter. And it kept on, like every time we looked at it, I feel like 11 and a quarter or 11 was at least something decent. So then maybe this becomes support down there. So we'll have to see if this now is the new level in and around $15 with the $5 billion there, joint venture with Volkswagen. I'm not even sure what this will accrue to the company or anything like that, but we'll wait to see what happens. It's good news for now. There's 18% short. So Rivian, and I was looking at it yesterday. I can show it to you on, this is the actual sticky note. I can show it to you on Twitter, but we had Rivian long yesterday at $11 as our #1 trade idea, as if we knew that this was going to happen. But nice move up there. We had Guggenheim yesterday with the upgrade, which is why I triggered the long yesterday, and it was a big trade, obviously. And then to have been able to hold overnight, man, we'd be long at 11.11 or whatever the price was yesterday. But we're still long in the old personal account, and I think it's worth selling something, especially if we break below the 16 or so level.
I'm keeping mine.
Yeah, you're long way up.
Well, my cost base is 1280, but I've been in it much longer than I think. You know, I know when you got in, but I had been in it for a hot minute. It went 15 to 25, and at that point I wasn't taking it either. My entire plan for this was when it made that initial bottom off, it was like $12. I'm just gonna go long when it breaks out. I'm gonna do a starter position, and it's in my TFSA, which is we have an investment long-term account, short-term, you call it like a short-term swing account, but whatever you want to call it. I have like a portion of that which is dedicated to shot plays.
Right.
So it's like a small portion. I'm like holding that. If it goes like almost to zero, those are the types of things. When I buy and trade Tellurian, it's in that bucket. Rivian's in that bucket for me. So if it was something else and I had more, then I would probably take some profit out. But I'm looking for, I waited 2 quarters to add, basically wait for a couple of reports. It made another bottom, and I wouldn't add to this position again probably till next year if I even decide I still like it at that point. But what I'm looking for is a break of this trend line on this move. If it breaks this trend above 20, and this is local since it made the big move in June, if it were to break this trend and then fail again in the 25s because I added, then I might take some out there. Takes a little bit of profit and then see where it goes. But I'm kind of thinking if somebody survives out of this garbage that's been the EV space, you're going to have a big winner that isn't just Tesla. So I like these guys, but I want to see this trend break. That would be 20. If it happened today or the next couple of days, it would be getting above $20. And as long as it holds this 15, if it holds the 200 period moving average, I think it has a chance to at least retest the top of that trend line. You're more than halfway there on just this move alone.
Yeah, all these EV names to the upside this morning. Here's Lucid as well. I mean, it was better part of 10%. We've since come off from the highs, but back to 270, 250, trying to hold right now as support, but 6.8% here for Lucid this morning as well. CMG, worth noting here on the split this morning. Yeah, CMG's $66. Yeah, huge move going into the split yesterday. We're trying to get going here already. I mean, it's not a ton of volume. I was noting like 500,000, 600,000 shares right now.
Well, there'll probably be a lot more, Brendo, now that retail is really going to get into this. 50-for-1 stock split executed already. Some of the things that really have been propping up Chipotle here, and Chipotle's done quite well and has been kind of recession resistant, or even we're not in a recession, but tough times resistant, I guess. Strong brand recognition. They're expanding to about 7,000 locations. They continue to increase menu items, and it's a good look for them so far. Right now, basically, they're looking at cutting back some costs, which has investors excited so far.
Just be aware of the market continuing to slide here. I was just double checking if there was anything, not that I can see right now, but futures basically back to day lows here, guys. But yeah, CMG finally in a range where people are going to be paying a little more attention here intraday.
Sure. Yeah, I think so. And look, it's not that you can't trade it when it's $3,000 a share. It's just that the manner in which you would is can be a little bit messier, so to speak. I'm going to pull up a daily chart here on over here on TradingView. Just simply, like ours doesn't split adjust. You can do like easy math yourself if you want to, but there was a pullback going into this split. Like it had made a fresh high, effectively getting to like 69 bucks. So we'll talk post-split prices, but the trend has been very, very clean in here on Chipotle. And if you put a 50 period, it will be it's like $62.75 or 80 cents. So you're ways away from what I thought would be dip support. Like before I came in this morning, I was actually thinking about that 62.75, 63, because I knew that was going to be the 50 period moving average for Chipotle. It went nowhere near that and is bouncing again. It's got a really high price to earnings ratio. Everyone always calls it overpriced, but the trend is pretty clean to the upside. If there's chances to dip buy today, well, there was already a bid at 65. And as I mentioned, that 62.75 is the 50 period simple on the daily. So probably in around 63. Those would be the places I'd look for a dip buy on Chipotle. But I was kind of hoping there'd be a sell at the open to get us to that 63 level. Unfortunately, they're already buying it up. So I don't know if we'll get that 50 period bounce, which has been bouncing over a year now off that 50.
I have it written on the sticky note here, but just to look out for some plays in Chipotle. Like I'm not sure of the, I would love a coffee. See Rivian today? So now we're in the money 50%. We're long here at 11 and change, Randy. You've been talking about this. We get that joint venture a little bit, $5 billion. We'll see what that can do. But Rivian right now up real nice, man. Up 12 million shares and up 37%. It was up to 18 yesterday at close when I went to bed 8 o'clock. Well, not when I went to bed, when the market went to bed. Then today 18, but nice little pullback in the market here. Let's see. I'm thinking about selling some of it, but we'll wait to see what happens here on Rivian. But interesting play. I love a coffee. Thank you. All right, so let's go back over to the desk. Yeah, I do have Rivian buying dips that open.
Yeah. Anyway. There's a couple things of note here. Apple with a nice move today. Initially, anyways, we are coming back to basically the highs from yesterday here, 210.50, 210.60. Rosenblatt with a positive note here on Apple this morning, going to buy, pointing to AI potential. I also saw, totally unrelated, but I also saw Google announce their Made by Google event.
Oh, nice.
I think it was the second week of August or maybe the third week of August. That's the phone one. So we get the developer one and then the phone one. Very similar to Apple, obviously, in September.
All-time highs for Google yesterday,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah.
So good look for Google. But with respect to Apple and the Rosenblatt upgrade, as Brendo mentioned, from neutral to buy, and a sweet 260 price target there. The rationale for the upgrade, the focus on privacy for AI. We all heard about how they're trying to make it as private as possible. The AI market opportunity, they look like there's a super cycle coming here with the iPhone 16 possibly. Resilience to cost pressure as well. They maintain margins despite consumer weakness, and we'll have to watch to see whether or not the services can get a boost here, because that's where the majority of the margins are now, Brendo, the Apple services.
Had such a strong day going back to Monday with that huge move out of the gate all the way to 212. Yesterday kind of sideways and choppy, but testing those highs once again from 2 days ago.
Yeah, well, hopefully we test those highs. That'd be a good sign. There's some dark pool wicks in there that kind of deceive the move. Like this one, not real, but you did get up to 211.5. So legitimately, it did break through yesterday's top in the pre-market. But this is where you want to get to, 212.5. If it gets through that price, I think you've got a bit of a breakout, but I don't think you necessarily want to wait. Since that big recovery, there was a big pullback, but then a higher low in the morning yesterday, and it was going into higher lows until in a sell imbalance, which sometimes if you have that sell imbalance, I want to see like the next day, does it matter? No, we're kind of gapping up anyway, so I kind of feel like it was making higher lows and the dip buys are going in there. That 209, as long as you're above there, I'd be looking longs on Apple. You mentioned Google, and I feel as if Google got the short end of the stick yesterday, so I kind of want to, we didn't really acknowledge, it was weird. There was so many things moving around, and if you're looking in the afternoon, you kind of wanted to be short when we had those flushes at the end of the day. So it got lost that Alphabet was as strong as it was. And that was an absolute barn burner of a breakout at 181 into all-time highs for Google. It seems to be pulling back a little bit with the market down 0.1%. So if it does try to get back into that previous 52-week high, like that 181 looks like a good spot. Unlike Amazon, like Amazon made a local break and got to its pre-market or got to its all-time high and then reversed. Google broke it clean yesterday, so a much stronger look. Look at that higher low, consolidation, bull flag, call it whatever you want to call it. That's a bullish stock to me. And if it comes back into that previous top, look for a bounce in Alphabet, which was the biggest and the baddest yesterday.
Yeah, we have biggest and the baddest. Oh, of those names? Yeah. So we have Apple right here, right there. We like the upgrade here at 209. We'll see. It looks like 210 is going to be the base there, but all the AI news, we really like it today. So I'm already bidding on Apple. I also have bidding on Rivian as well. But here it is right there. I don't know. I mean, it's up again. The market just fell and Apple didn't. So I think this is going to be real strong. Like I wrote down 209 just because that's where we closed. We had a dip in yesterday into the close again. We actually had that short, so that was good. Remember, we looked at this. This was the good trade there. We had NVIDIA short, which was bad. Apple short at the end of the day was fantastic. So we had this whole play right there. So I think that if we could buy it again down at 209, that should be something for sure. So 210, 209 area for me on Apple is the go zone right there. So we'll wait for some Apple love, but the NASDAQ right now is down 0.12, and the ES now 0.18. I thought the NASDAQ was a little worse than the ES, but for right now, it's NASDAQ's day. And thank you, Mr. Randy, again for the reloaded coffee.
Thank you, Randy.
Let's go back to the desk.
All right, FedEx we mentioned earlier. We'll touch on that. 15% almost here to the upside at this point. 293 this morning, trying to hold. If you missed it after the close yesterday, not much in the way of negativity behind this. I mean, beat easily. They guide higher. $2.5 billion in a buyback. All seems well as far as shipping is concerned.
Oh, yeah. Beating on top and bottom line, as you mentioned, EPS and revenue both beat. Revenue did come in, a little bit lighter than last year. So a bit of a decrease in the revenue, but beating expectations. Cost-cutting measures, really the focus here. They were able to cut about $5.2 billion off their balance sheet. They want to cut another $4 billion by the end of next year. And they're also consolidating some services with their Express, trying to mix that in with some of the other ones. So trying to save some money here for the investors, Brendo.
Easily puts it back to positive on the month as well with this move to the tune of 11% or so. So wasn't really doing much otherwise, but yeah, almost 15% here.
On any other day, if not for Rivian, the talk, and obviously in the aftermarket show with Sean and Adara when you guys were going through, if not for that Rivian news, FedEx could have been the belle of the ball, probably would have been with that move. It's comical sometimes when you look at these things. Where's it going to go to when it breaks out here? I'm going to just write to $300. 300's the high. Well, why not just go to 300? The tricky thing about trading this, it's got 200,000 in volume, which is good. When I sat down, the spread was insanity. It was well over $1 when I was sitting down. It's actually tightening up now, so it looks a little bit better. But when you look at names like this, at the open, there's a distinct lack of normal liquidity. Like if you're used to trading a $300 stock that moves like a Microsoft or like a Meta or an Apple, like those types of names, this will be vastly different in terms of liquidity. There's going to be twice as much minimum slippage, probably three, four times as much slippage when you throw a stop order. So you really want these things to settle down at the open. It's so close to that high, it pretty much needs to break out 300 at this point. Otherwise, if you're looking long, you'd have to be thinking a dip buy. And the only level out there that kind of makes sense, that's close enough, would have been 290. So if it can hold 290 at the open, sometimes we'll see these on earnings kind of go sideways. Like if they're going to hold the gap, they might just go sideways, dip, and then bounce off like the 290 or 289. If it can do that throughout the morning, I think there could be like a recovery long. But that's the only play I would make in FedEx. A good quarter for them. As Sharif mentioned, it wasn't perfect, but they did a lot of cost cutting, effective cost cutting. That's the number it seems everybody liked. That capital expenditures was way down, so efficiency up for them, and that's why you get this push into some highs. But I doubt I trade this over NVIDIA. We'll see about Carvana, maybe not breaking after all for Carvana, and Rivian, much better in play because the volume's so good, the liquidity's so much better on those names.
Look, a great bellwether name here in FedEx. You know, they're up huge because they finally get a positive quarter after past declines. They were positive growth in Q4, negative quarters 3 before that. So right back up in here into $300. So it looks like that turnaround has happened, man. Like this was, what a great story this has been from the bottom as well. 140 to $300 on FedEx. What a great name, continues to work. And I mean, I think this holds out well for all the shipping names. I think this holds out well for Amazon. We talked about this again on the recap show, and just like the stronger the shippers are, the more hopefully strength that there is in the retail side, which is the consumer. And we already heard from Canada that inflation was getting a little bit higher, but people aren't stopping spending money. I mean, ground segment increased, freight segment increased, and there's also a talk of the buybacks as well, increased share repurchase plan. So, I mean, I like the name, and this is $300. I think a $300 break is imminent, and then I think you can get back to this 320. This is not a bad area to add some calls. If you are trading with options. I mean, I think FedEx can go. So breaking through 300 seems pretty obvious here. I mean, the market's going to have to go. The market's down today, right? We already talked about that. So if the market's going to be red, then FedEx is going to have to lift itself a little higher here naturally. But we'll wait. We'll wait. If the market gets going, I definitely think a $300 break is there. So, all right, let's go find out what got upgraded and downgraded today with Adara.
Lots of heavy hitters on the upgrade side of things today, starting with Apple getting this upgrade from Rosenblatt, saying they had a customer survey. Lots of positive talks for Apple's AI moves, 260 price target for AAPL from Rosenblatt. We also have FedEx getting upgraded by JP Morgan Chase after their earnings beat last night. Robinhood getting an upgrade from Wolf Research over some positive earnings excitement for their upcoming report. And we also have Citigroup upgrading Caterpillar. On the downgrade side, Morgan Stanley downgrading Accenture down about 2.5%. Right now in the pre-market. They actually reported earnings last week. We have D-Local getting a downgrade from Goldman Sachs. Sarepta Therapeutics getting a downgrade from Citigroup. And last but not least, Viavi Solutions getting a downgrade from Rosenblatt, guys.
Obvious solution.
Yeah, you've got Robinhood is hungry like the wolf, and it's going back into the upside. You had that pullback in crypto. So a couple of days ago, you know, the start of the week, everything was pretty red, that it was even adjacent to that space, and a lot of names were selling off just in a general sense. Well, Robinhood's reaction to that is over the 2-day period, V-shape, right back in. And now you get an upgrade. This looks pretty bullish to me, at least today. Holds on to 22.75 at open. I think you've got like a local breakout in here. So you have 22.75 to 23. I think you got a local breakout. If it tries to fill in the gap, previous resistance turns into support at about 22.40 or so. I mean, that's the starting point. You got 22.25 as a bit of a range there. So it could go either way, but I am looking for longs. Like sometimes when you're like a stock for a long, it gives you the dip buy back into previous resistance. Other times it just breaks the heck out. So Robinhood, I don't know if you get to that 52-week high today. That's still $1.50, which is a lot for Robinhood. But nice little local breakout here after that. I don't want to say dump on Monday. A lot of things pull back. This wasn't even the worst of them, but I like that V-shaped recovery and then break back out. That's always bullish.
Look, we have Robinhood written right here as one of the top ideas for the post-it note today, the sticky note. Right there, Robinhood 22.50 long. It's been holding 22. I like it. It's been upgraded. Again, good call there as reviewed by Adara and Neil. So Robinhood today is hopefully going to be another slapper. So we'll wait to see what happens with Robinhood. Bid's already in there, 22.50.
Note on DoorDash, or not DoorDash specifically, but some interest in Deliveroo being discussed this morning by several analysts from Deliveroo over in the UK. It's not really doing much this morning, but that would be a decent-sized deal if they were able to put something together for that. This thing has done absolutely nothing going back to April, end of April, May. If you zoom out on the chart, stuck in this 114, 115 area, down to 110 for DoorDash. But I mean, worth a note. We'll see what happens at the open this morning. But Deliveroo is not small over in the UK.
No, it's interesting, Brendo, because we've seen Uber Eats do this when they go into markets that they don't have one or two, position one or two. They leave that market entirely. So I not specifically know how DoorDash was doing over there, but Deliveroo's takeover approach. This article goes on to say by Dow Jones. basically their financial strength may be able to take over DoorDash. I didn't really know too much about this, but we'll have to keep an eye on this one.
Yeah, I mean, this entire Uber is another one we can look at. This entire group, there was a note on Uber yesterday. This entire group has been pretty quiet going back the past couple of weeks, though. Coming off earnings, Uber had a decent move, but still kind of tight here as far as the range is concerned for all of these right now, guys.
Yeah, I would say Uber's chart has been the more interesting one recently, at least for trading opportunities. And don't get me wrong, if you, on some stocks, you'd look at this and say, look, that's a great opportunity to try to grab longs at 110 and then out at like 115. But DoorDash doesn't do the same kind of volume that you're going to want. And obviously, it's really, there is no other play. I mean, you could short like 114, 115, I suppose. But 110, if it's not trading down there, then everything else is probably a waste of time. You're not scalping in the middle. These kinds of charts are not great for day trading, but they can be interesting for swings when they break out of it. At least with Uber, you know, when you pull this one up, if you're going to give me a distinct or a tight range or not a gigantic range, show me something which is starting to go. Like maybe it failed yesterday. Granted, it was breaking out, and early on you would have been happy with that break that happened in Uber, but it still managed to hold above 70, so technically still putting in a rounded bottom and higher lows, and then right back up again today. This at least is starting to go, whereas DoorDash just seems caught in the same range forever. So another higher low today would be a good sign. That's about 70.40. It's not on my list to trade, but I'd be looking more at Uber here as it's trying to break out as opposed to just waiting forever for DoorDash to finally do something, which it just can't.
I know I missed investing down there in Uber, but you know what I wish I invested in the WNBA? Listen to this. So last year, you want to talk about how important Caitlin Clark is to basketball here? So last year at this time, all WNBA games, total viewership, 301,000. Okay? WNBA viewership season to date, just Caitlin Clark games, 1.2 million. Just for her games alone. Last year, all of last year, 300,000. So, I mean, to have gotten in on that TV deal, I can't even imagine what the revenues are looking like right now. Getting paid on that one. So, yeah, anyways, congratulations to that, as Toronto's getting their WNBA franchise as well. So that's happening pretty soon, hopefully.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah, I think 2026 maybe. But anyways, yeah, Uber down there. I just think psychological level there, $70. I mean, we already talked about this. FedEx is huge. Uber does have Uber Freight. I mean, I don't think that that's necessarily going to be anything there, but just something to think about. We'll wait to see if 70 can come into play here for Uber. I mean, it's definitely a missed opportunity down there. But, you know, we did talk about this. There was the pullback in. I was nervous about the robo-taxi and just where that was all going. Pretty stupid to do that. And I mean, the nervous hands got shaken out, and there was a great opportunity to buy it down there. So for me, $70 long will be what we're waiting for. Other than that, we'll just wait around. So yeah, that's sort of the call there for Uber down here in and around 70. That's what I would wait for.
Real quick, just not necessarily a trading opportunity, but interesting story. Anyways, going back to June 3rd, there was that strange trading anomaly. I don't even know if they ever came out and actually said what happened, but there was a glitch on the NYSE and Burke B shares. There was people who were able to pick it up at like $60.
Can't believe this.
Going back to, again, June 3rd. All those trades were broken. No one actually ended up with those shares down there. But I was just reading a note on IBKR. IBKR is going to file a single-day $48 million loss from having to break some of those trades.
Should I withdraw my money, Brendo? Like, what's going on? Should I be concerned here? No, that's tough because obviously those trades were not done with Equitable Site, obviously because, you know, that there was a problem with the system. So we'll have to see exactly how that all pans out, Brendo. But I remember that day, the New York prints weren't coming in straight.
Yeah, and it wasn't even just that simple, but no. That was the one that seemed to stand out with a lot of trading activity around it. Anyway, let's get into everything else we need to know here this morning. Sharif will lead it off with a look at the market. 55.36, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES September contract.
kind of a chop and churn week with 55.50 as that level of resistance. It's also the level of resistance we have overnight, so we'll use that as our kind of line in the sand to the high side. To the low side, let's use that 55.10. We've been bouncing off there multiple days now on the 24th and on the 25th as well.
All right, tons to get into here on the individual side of things. If you haven't done so, go to the website, tradertv.live. Wait for that pop-up, enter your email address, and then you get that. Every single day, everything you need to know in the pre-market for free. 37% right now. A little bit of a pullback here, back to 1640, 1650 for Rivian. Just an absolute monster. Initially, after the close yesterday, we did get a little bit of a pullback this morning, as we said, on this tie-up with Volkswagen to the tune of about $5 billion. Huge.
Huge. So as you said, $5 billion. $1 billion is going to be in a convertible note. The remaining $4 billion is going to be spread out by 2026. It's part of a joint venture between the two companies. So here's what's going to basically be shared. They're going to share technology on the software to create these EVs, but they're not going to share battery technology, the propulsion systems, and other areas that they didn't mention as excluded. This is the first major investment by a large vehicle company or a manufacturing company since Ford pulled out last year, Brendo. So we'll have to see exactly if this one can continue to move higher. By the way, they had $9 billion in cash, and that's been a problem with some of these electric vehicle companies that are burning through it.
Yeah. I was just reading here, and I wonder how much this has to do with the Amazon deal, but there hasn't been an update in a long, long time as far as deliveries to Amazon specifically. The last note I see is going back to the end of last year, and that was when Rivian surpassed 10,000 deliveries of the delivery vans to Amazon. Remember, they owe them 100,000, or the deal itself was 100,000. So you got to wonder how much Volkswagen is eyeing that as well. But what do we do here, guys? Where's the action today for Rivian?
Well, the action is going to be everywhere. I'm going to get right to the chart, but the first thing I wanted to show is just so you know what the reaction is with Volkswagen to this news. It's down 3% over in Germany and breaking support level like as we speak. So, that kind of an outlay tells you what the market might think about it. Of course, it's risky, right? Like this could, Rivian might end up being nothing. They give them the $1 billion now. They got $4 billion, which could also be coming down the line. That's a decent chunk of change, obviously. Look, if you broke $17, that's big level on the daily chart. It gapped through it in the aftermarket, and briefly in the pre-market here, it was above that $17 as well. So that's still unbroken, can happen. But I like this 200 period moving average. It's right around that $15. It's just barely above the $15 level, and it was a big support before it got dumped through on earnings. So about 14.5 to 15. I think that's the dip buy zone. You just got to remember today that this is a stock that was 12 and has got as high as 18. So it's a $17, $16 stock that is not going to, you're not really thinking 20, 30 cent moves. Those are good moves. Like when CCL moved yesterday, you can take profit 20 cents, 40 cents, and then it goes eventually like $1. You get multiple entries. Rivian might make that kind of a move one shot off the open if it pulls back. So I think I want to be patient waiting for that 15 area. That's what I got marked off. If it decides to break out 17, we can always join a trend above that. But I'm expecting a dip buy here. I think there will be some selling at the open.
So yesterday we had Rivian marked down as an $11 dip buy. We had this. This is our trade yesterday, 11.11. We had that long. And then yesterday, Rivian, we actually wound up getting 90 cents on the last piece. So it was moved over 10% or about 7-8% for us yesterday to the upside, and we got out at 11. Remember, it was 11.94 right there. So yesterday we're long down here at 11.11, and we're out up here at 11.90. So yesterday we got $1 on an $11 name. So let's see what winds up happening today. And again, as we were saying, today you got to open up the pockets a little bit here. It's 35%. Let's see if it holds 16. I'm bidding 16 right now. I feel like 15 would be great. We'll get more down here if it goes. So right now, I want to be long the name. There is a short interest. I don't think this is just a venture to develop batteries and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it's not that big of a deal in my opinion, but it's definitely shooting the stock up. And with the short interest, we want to be involved with this name. So look, I like Rivian. We talked about this yesterday on the recap show, and look, I mean, it's already been up here. Brendan had mentioned, selling some of his. there at 15 or all of it, and that was a great move. And right now you get the opportunity again. Everybody that's trapped up here now gets a chance to sell. So will they? That's the question before it comes right back in, right? So there's a lot of traders, as we mentioned, that are trapped here on Rivian. Not many people, I don't think, bought it down here. But if you did, you got 10, you got 11. And now, you know, you're in the money 50% on a stock that loses $33,000 every vehicle they produce. So sell as many vehicles as you can, Rivian, because it's not adding to your EPS. But we'll, you know, again, this is what happens. This is a brand new company. You know, they have that Amazon deal. I'm long the name in talking like this, but it's just, I don't know what this deal means longer term. Let's just see if they can settle it out. Still got to sell lots of trucks. Still got to produce the trucks as well. So that's what we're interested in for the next quarter, is to see those numbers. We know they have the demand. It's can they meet the demand, and can they actually make money? They're losing a significant amount of money every vehicle they sell. So yeah, I think it's profit-taking zone.
So it's not just them. We were just saying there's, even in Toronto here, there's more and more FedEx trucks that are showing up or driving around that are completely electric as well. So a little bit of competition for Rivian on that side. Here's Apple on a pullback as well. It was Rosenblatt with the upgrade this morning, getting above that high from yesterday. If you zoom out a little bit, though, we had that huge move going back to Monday morning up through 212. Does this hold, first of all, and if so, where, I guess, this morning?
Yeah, you know, I was kind of expecting this as a shareholder right now, that there's going to be a chop and churn in Apple until we actually see the product manifestation and not just these videos about what they're going to do. But, you know, if you're familiar with the Apple, you know that typically they do execute. Here's the reason for the Rosenblatt upgrade. They like the fact that they're focusing on AI privacy. You're not hearing a lot about that from other people. Good AI market opportunity. That's specifically talking about their super cycle with the upgrade either to the 15 Pro or the 16 coming out this year, and the resilience to cost pressure. Margins continue to stay good, and they're forecasting even higher margins for the services, so we'll have to see how they do.
Yeah, back downside right now. There was a little note there on what was it? Self-diagnostics, or diagnostics for self-service repair, now available in 32 European countries. That's for Apple. Also, that's still Berkshire, but I'm just reading off screen here, guys. Again, Apple diagnostics for self-service repair, now available in 32 European countries.
Yeah, they might want to do a diagnostic on the bid of NVIDIA right now, because yikes, NVIDIA pulling right back in, down 1%. Remember, NVIDIA was up a couple of points earlier this morning, and now all of a sudden you're really pulling back in there. Might see this 123 at the open. We'll get to Apple in a second. Obviously, NVIDIA has a meeting, but you got to look at what's going on in the market. AMD pulling back, but not nearly as harsh of a move for AMD. I want to triple check Micron in here. Yeah, Micron as well. Micron had gapped up. That was 2% to the upside, and that's now pulling right back into 142. They're going to report tonight. So all back into big levels. That 123 was significant on NVIDIA. We might actually have that off the open. For Apple, we sort of mentioned the last couple of days, you know, there's been some selling going into the close, but then it's gapped up the next day and then put in a higher low. If we can do a similar thing, I think the 209 is a good spot for Apple. So watch out for that. Interestingly enough, as I pointed out, with a bunch of the chip names moving to the downside early and the NASDAQ pulling in, a very slight dip in Apple. So I think the relative strength, when the growthier AI names start to go down, Apple has held out a little bit better, which when the market's coming down like this is the thing you want to note. A little bit of relative strength here in Apple as the market pulls back.
Yeah, again, the sticky note name of Apple will still stay there, man. It's 209 long, so we've already written that down. We talked about that about 30 minutes ago. I like this level 209 for Apple. Yeah, I think there's a super cycle is among us, right? So I just want to buy the dips. We talked about it being down to 201, 202. I don't know if we're going to get down there at all, but that's a great little level there, 209 and change here for Apple. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be buying that. If we look at sort of a 20-minute chart, like I'm not in love with this area because if you take the 209 long, I don't even know if we're going to get in there. So I feel like I'll probably start the bidding like around 209.50. It looks like we may get that off the open with a little bit of a move in. I mean, you could have even just seen Apple does have the tendency to bring it down. And it's not like this is an upward trend by any stretch of the imagination. If anything, we're still in that pullback down now about 5 or 6% from its highs of 220, right? So, I mean, I still like the name. There's 209 is right here, you know, so you still have some of this. So you got to watch out about how many shares we're taking, because I don't think you want to get out until you at least get even a break of that wick, which is like 206.50. So, you know, yesterday we wound up getting into too many shares shorting NVIDIA. I don't want to get into too many shares going long on Apple, but I feel a little bit better about the protection down here. And it's just a couple days. But until there's that negative catalyst for Apple, I don't really want to go short the name. So it was, I mean, I looked yesterday, it was long yesterday, 206 to 208. I just showed you the bottom was 207. So yesterday we hit that completely, we nailed it. That was a great trade for us. As I just keep on looking at all of these, there's another one that's long 173. What the, that's a long time ago. Okay, so anyways, the idea here behind Apple would be a long today. I don't see a negative catalyst. And the fact that it's up 0.7 against the NASDAQ that's down 0.3, I like the stock, I like the long, it's Apple. It's a no-brainer trade for me down there near 209.
There's a move there in the yen once again this morning. I was just seeing top currency diplomat making some comments this morning. We will take appropriate steps on the FX market as needed. Oof. Again for the JPY USD. So big move down there for the yen, yen USD. Here's Chipotle back to 66, trying to hold here, basically where it was after the close yesterday. CMG, congratulations if you were a shareholder. You now have 49 more shares per each one that you did yesterday of CMG shares. I'm just reading in this note as well. They're going to take this opportunity for general managers and any staff as well to participate in that, if they didn't have shares, I guess, before, to participate in this split.
That's a good PR move right there. I like that. So as we know, the stock split doesn't change a company's valuations, but what it does is it makes the stock more accessible, specifically to retail investors, even though most brokerages now offer you partial shares. Chipotle's strength in the future, really the reason this is at $3,000 or was at $3,000, strong brand recognition, guys, very limited menu items, so that helps maintain low overhead costs. They also expand quite aggressively. They're looking at getting to 7,000 locations in North America, and they have a track record for great margins. So keep your eye on this one now that it's more accessible.
Yeah, definitely going to get more attention than it has been. That's a 15-minute chart, but there's the move I was just talking about with the yen. Back higher there. If you flip that around, you'll see that 160 coming into play once again, trying to hold right now for the end. But some comments being made, guys, from the Bank of Japan.
All right, we just got long down here. NVIDIA just went for a little bit of a dip here. And again, this is a big name for me today, hopefully. So we buy the 125 here on NVIDIA and see what happens. I mean, we like this dip play in for this name. So okay, the NVIDIA meeting's up next, so we'll talk about that. But this just went for a move, so we'll wait to see. It's been happening all morning. I mean, basically, this was $130 when you come in here at 8 o'clock when we basically started looking at this thing. And there's the drop down. We just bounced. I mean, we just bounced. It's not like I'm ignoring this 125, but it bounced up through. Now let's see if it can get down there. We'll buy some more if it does get into 124 again. But already a quick little 20-cent winner. I'm gonna hold out and see if it can get bumped back up. All right. So for Chipotle, we've never ever traded this name, but we will probably start trading it. I do not have the confidence, obviously, in trading this one as I did with NVIDIA post-split, because we're very comfortable trading the chip names and we have different things to look at. Again, without having an idea of where this is going to go, it's on here as a note. You want to make sure that you're looking at it in case it starts to go, maybe taking out this high of 66.50. I don't know. Splits are also headwinds once they're over with. So they're tailwinds heading into the split, and then in my opinion, headwinds after that. So we saw NVIDIA take a little bit of a minute there to break through that 118, bounced up to 120, back to 118, broke down below 117. So it hovered around that post-split area as well. So this is Chipotle's time. Basically, the post-split price in and around $65. So we'll bring that down now into that area. Maybe that's a long, maybe it's not. But for right now, Chipotle's on my radar, but I don't know any levels. So we'll just wait to see. I think fills to VWAP, but that's where we are now. So I'm gonna have to wait and see. Our charts again, that's the one thing that we need to work on, is getting it reflecting the post-split price going backwards. So yeah, so for right now, we'll hold off on Chipotle unless if there's any levels you looked at. I don't.
Not one that I think will come in, but I got up. Look, there are levels, obviously. Like if you look at the 50 period on the daily, like it's hugging that 50 period the entire way. And for us, it was just simply doing the math. Like I just looked at that level, the 50 period. If you bounce off it again today, that's $62.75. I said earlier, I just don't know if we're going to get a chance for a dip into that price. Maybe it will. Like, we've seen that before, where you get the news and everyone's excited about it, and then it goes for a jaunt to the downside. But the relative 50 SMA on the daily, where it's bounced every time for the last year or whatever it is, it's probably even longer than that. I could go back and look at the chart. Doesn't matter. It'll be about $62.75. So that's where I'd be looking for a long, and maybe we're waiting for another day for a level like that because you're trading at 66. Everything else, if we can find a trend later on, maybe. But outside of that 50 period, I don't have any key prices. You can maybe look at 65 because it's a round number. But if we're going for dip buys today, there seems like there's going to be plenty of them, including the next two on this list.
All right, everyone ask your selected smartphone brand. We won't say any names at this point, but to set an alarm for 12 o'clock today. NVIDIA meeting coming up at lunchtime today. I mean, who knows? There might be nothing come from this, but worth keeping in mind if any comments come through from Jensen or anyone else who's speaking in regards to what's happening. We could get some price action.
Yeah, Dare's already got the link for that. We're going to have that live for you guys on the midday How to Trade, so catch that with us. With specifically today with NVIDIA, with that upgrade from Citi, price target boost Brendo from 126 to 150. Basically saying that AI is going to be the next big thing. Surprise, surprise there. They also talk about the potential for enterprise productivity. They believe AI agents can significantly boost business efficiency. That's obviously going to work in the margins. Good luck today with the upgrade.
Yeah, we'll hear more. We'll hear more at lunchtime. Now, red, as the guys were mentioning there, to the tune of a full % already.
The coffees, and I just see a very important conversation happening in our group chat here, and it's regarding chips. So Randy, if you were to have one chip, and we're talking about the edible kind right now, which would be your preference? Maybe one or two. Rob put in the chat Doritos Cool Ranch. It's been a minute for me with Doritos Cool Ranch. I feel like those aren't as popular anymore, but that would be a pick for me.
My most recent favorite, and I get them at, believe it or not, Rexall.
Okay.
They have a Nashville blue cheese.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Who's making that?
It's their house brand.
Oh,
and it's like
like a little bit of a spicy blue cheese.
It's not terribly spicy, but the flavor is just off the map. It's just, I don't know, good stuff.
Yeah, people don't have all dressed. What about yourself, Neil? What would you be looking?
Well, I mean, everyone knows ketchup chips have been mine, and I haven't wavered from that. Like I like all dressed, it's in there, but ketchup chips, if I'm going for it, that's always been my pick. Yeah, hands down.
I like ketchup chips, other than your hands just get so red. But yeah, that's
just gotta lick them off.
That's a good thing.
What's
yeah.
Rivian doing?
Probably going down. I mean, I think Rivian
it's holding out a bit here.
I think Rivian's a sell here, but I mean, I'm trying to buy. I'm not a sell here for the trade today. You know what? Actually, it's coming down like a hot minute right here. I'm actually going to replace the amount of shares what I'm buying here at 16. So yeah, Randy, it is coming to the downside right now. I've already said that I believe this to be. I should have put in a market order. Maybe I should just do it right now because we don't want to trade while we're on the show in our personal accounts as well. But right there, I feel like it's a sell. If we can get back up to 18, that's definitely for me a sell, and we'll take out, take our 60% or whatever that is. But yeah, Rivian right now, nice move. this doesn't really mean it. I mean, they're working on batteries and stuff like that. I mean,
This is a news play. This
right.
is what this is.
Yeah, right.
So
This might mean
And a bit of a
absolutely
squeeze,
nothing,
too.
with
for
potential long-term implications on either side.
them. Yep.
But it's interesting play. Play the news, folks.
It's very short. 19% short's not nothing.
Yeah.
The shorts look for reasons to take profit. They've been grinding that stock to the downside for a while. Well, let's get to NVIDIA.
Yeah, sure.
Because I realize that we're supposed to have been talking about NVIDIA. So V-shaped recovery, the last couple of sessions. Let me zoom it out. So there you go. You can see yesterday. Yeah, yesterday was a pretty good breakout here. It wasn't, the break was 122.60. But I actually took 123 as a break, and then it dipped into 123 late in the afternoon before making highs. So I think the key levels are going to stand out, 27, 30, 31. This should be 31, not 30. That should be 31. I'll move that later. But 123 is where I'm looking for a dip buy on NVIDIA after that massive rally that a lot of names had, especially NVIDIA. And we always talk about these in tandem, it feels like, because AMD is never on the watch list or never on the rundown unless they have earnings. It's usually adjacent. AMD pulled back as well. Just remember, a lot of stocks had that big bounce higher. AMD is still in the same place that it's been in forever, which is hugging the 50-period moving average and in a downward channel. That means every single time it pops into a resistance level, when it's in that channel, I'm looking for a short. That's 163 today. So you had no chance to trade off of that level yesterday, just kind of dumped and then reversed. But today, there's some strength, at least there was when I sat down. If we get to 163, I'd be looking short on AMD. If it breaks that, we got to be able to get away from it and not fight it. But you had 3 days in a row where that was good resistance on AMD. Let's see if it can be a fourth.
All right, we just reloaded here on NVIDIA at 125. We got more shares, not reloaded. We just got more. We didn't empty the clip yet. So we'll wait. Again, it's going to be hopefully a big name again today for us. We shorted this, basically this exact move right here as it started to go in the afternoon. It just kept going and going and going, and then even started to go even in the aftermarket to the point where today we opened up around that 130. Obviously, the investor day is going to be at noon. Brendan just highlighted that for us, so we'll have to wait to see if there's anything special that comes from that. But honestly, it's not going to trade down in anticipation, and it probably shouldn't really trade up in anticipation. This is just the best name in the market. It was up 7 or 8% yesterday. They just basically said, hold my beer to anybody that did not dip buy. Like, was that the buy? That's it. That's the pullback on NVIDIA from 140 to 120. I mean, maybe that's it, right? Boom, right back up to the upside, hitting that 130 again. So look, if we can get a 125 long, which we have right now, and bring that back up into 130, that would be huge. So, I mean, $5 would be massive. I don't know if it has it in it, but it was just there an hour ago, so we could definitely get back, right? So we'll hold out to see what happens. First area to get a little bit out here would be up in and around this level of 126. I do have an offer at 125 because we just got more shares, but for now we wait for that, and we just got some Robinhood shares down here as well, so more for me to look at.
Robinhood, downside right now. We're just breaking actually pre-market support as we speak, so just be aware. But there was a very nice note from Wolf Research upgrading to stock or peer perform. I was going to say stock perform. Peer perform from outperform. So $29 they think it's worth. That's about $6 from where we are now.
Yeah, it's a 31% upside, Brendo. Not bad. Apparently, they met with the CFO of Robinhood. I'm not saying Wolf met them, separately, but analysts met with the CFO, and as a result of that meeting, they see great upside potential, specifically here, solid net deposits, consistent inflow from new users, significant operating leverage, which is interesting here because their ability to scale profits, but not necessarily scale revenue. So they're becoming more efficient, and strong free cash flow generation, Brendo, the ability to convert those profits into cash readily available for investment.
Another one trying to bounce off recent support as well, off that 21 that went back to the beginning of May, guys. So a nice look back higher today.
All right.
Yeah, and obviously we kind of went through this on the upgrade and downgrade list as well. At least I believe it was during upgrades and downgrades for Robinhood. You pull up the 15-minute, you can sort of see where we're working with here. It could still make a breakout of 23, but once it's underneath that 22.8, looking at 22.4 down in here. So previous resistance turning into support is where I'm looking for it. If it goes red on the day, that's 22.15, and I think that's where I give up the dip buy. And then if you can always break down and lose that on a dip buy and try to get back in on the way up. I'm sitting 55s. I just moved gateway, but also in front of the 40 level. So we're going to get an early dip buy here in Robinhood. The daily chart looks very good. Higher lows all the way through. Maybe detached from the 15-200 period, but a nice little reversal. I don't care too much about crypto, but on the off chance that we do, if there was a flush through like say 60,000 on Bitcoin or something and it got pretty nasty, that might adjust the outlook on Robinhood, but you're firmly back above that 60,000. It bounced with everything else. I don't see much of a reason not to look long when it's breaking back out here in the hood.
All right, guys, we're already long. We've got a pretty decent sized position right now, probably one of the bigger ones for Robinhood today. And it's at our level, 22.50, so we just take that long. So we got long, we're long right now. We just took some out actually at 59 because we have a lot of shares there. So, but I still think it rips, obviously. So we're gonna wait for 60s, 68s, and then higher. But I like it. Nice upgrade there today. It's been working. We'll try it. I mean, we never like to get filled at 9.25. I mean, that seems a bit early for me, even earlier than that. But look what just happened right there. As we'll go, let's spin it a little bit here for NVIDIA, as we'll take 50 cents. There it is. Oh, we'll take 50 cents. Oh no, there goes NVIDIA. Nicely done to the upside right there as we make that cash here on NVDA. Obviously the imbalance is hitting a little bit here.
1.4.
Yeah, nice move up there. Let's go, man. Bang. That's why you got to believe in what the hell you're doing around here. We talk about having confidence, taking fills. There's Robinhood. Spin it right now. Oh man. Okay, well, there it is. If I just get out right now, right here, right now, out of all these positions that I have, you know, it might just be one of those days if we just get out right now. But we're going to hold on to everything. There it goes. We just touched it, 126 right now. It's a Dollar Club member coming through on the day for NVIDIA. So glad we switched up into the longs right there, right now. Now let's see if we can give it all back. Today, hopefully not, as there goes Robinhood, there goes NVIDIA. We're 2 for 2 on the sticky note already. A little bit of help from the imbalances, but here we go. Nice upside there. Thank you so much for the support in the chat. Means a lot as we got it today. It's Robinhood, baby. It's NVIDIA, and it's going to be a good day. So let's go back over to the desk.
Guys, we're talking about average true range all week. Today, we'll get a little bit more nuanced with it and say how you can use ATR to set up those profit targets and wet your beak. Catch that with Adair and I on How to Trade at 11.
One thing about ATR, keep in mind, like when you have big, massive moves, like earnings or something like that, like 30, 40-day average can get blown out of the water. Sometimes looking at the shorter range can matter, because when you see things like that, like FDX, it'll be completely different. Rivian, completely different today. You can't put it in the same bucket as whatever the ATR might say, because that's going over too big of a time frame. It ain't going to move that way after a catalyst. Just quickly, that imbalance that was 2 million that got that great move up. Good look there, Sean. It paired a little bit here, so it's down to 600,000. That's expected. There's nothing abnormal about an imbalance pairing off. It's still a buy imbalance.
Oh, wow.
There is still one for Chipotle as well, but that's only 200,000. DNA is a penny stock, so who cares about an imbalance on a penny stock? And worth noting, Lucid is a sell imbalance. One thing that I haven't said today, and I'm only going to say, I was kind of hoping that Lucid would be up a little bit more on this, because I felt as if Lucid was going to be an easy sympathy sell if Rivian gave anything back. That might have already happened. But if there's a big move up in Rivian and Lucid gets taken with it, then I would look for a reversal in this stock and not the other. The only one that we didn't talk about here that's on my list today is that Carvana 52-week high, big short float. It broke 129 change for a 52-week high break late in the day yesterday. And bit of a failure there. I want this thing to break 130, but just because you want it to break out a 52-week high and squeeze the heck out of everybody doesn't mean it's going to happen. If it doesn't break this level, I just think it's like a 52-week high, all-time high, whatever break, fail. And if that's the case, it should be a short underneath that 129 level. But my first look is kind of hoping it makes the breakout. For now, we'll just have to wait. It's $3 away and change with only 2 minutes to go in here. So we got to be locked and loaded and ready. Apple, some strength over in there. NVIDIA's already going. I'm still going to stick with a 123 bid. I'm still on the bid there. And Hood, I'm pretty much in the same spot, about 12 to 15 cents away. And Rivian will be on the bid as well. But I'm not sitting at 16. I'm kind of looking for the 15 area in here. it could drop $1 like it's nothing. Rivian's not going to move the way it normally does. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, we like Rivian. All right, so, man, I mean, we just made $1.50 in the pre-market there on NVIDIA. And like I said, man, it's already one of those days, and it's 9:29 right now. So let's stay focused. Let's stay in the pocket. Yeah, we just did really well there off the open. So NVIDIA, Robinhood, Rivian, CMG, and Apple. Let's see as Apple goes right now. Yeah, but that NVIDIA long right here, I think we can even get longer. I mean, we put down 125 on the sticky note. We got it twice, came in right there. We talked about Cool Ranch and all these nice little chips, but really the only one that matters right here today is NVIDIA. And then there's our Robinhood play. Come on. I mean, that just fell right into the level that we wrote down, 22.50. So we're already out of a third of this name as it's right here, right now. So you might as well put that profit in our pocket and wait to see what happens. So looks like Apple's already gone, which is fine by me. Let's see how high NVIDIA can get here off the open with only 3 seconds to go. Adara, it's already a big one. Ring that bell. All right, so let's see if we get longer now on NVIDIA if it does come back in, because we're out right now of 65% of this long on NVIDIA, guys.
Yeah, here comes Rivian. It just broke that $16 level to the downside, so it looks like it wants to come in here. Just noting Meta, which was so strong yesterday, not plunging, but moving to the downside off of the open. So here comes Rivian, right into $15.50 already, starting to fall. Gonna have to be patient. We thought this might drop, not necessarily like a rock, but we're looking for a dip buy, so we got to be patient with it. Chipotle will check back in, and Apple, as you kind of already mentioned. Apple, no 209. Apple's going hunting for the breakout. Looks like it's one of those days for Apple already.
Oh yeah, this is an absolutely monster day for your boy over here already. We are now almost $2 in the money on NVIDIA, off the level that everybody could have had with the sticky note, right? We talked about that, and there it goes right now. Huge move to the upside. Not only that, man, we just got filled there. Wow, at 127, NVIDIA is an absolute rocket. And again, it just goes back to showing you guys about yesterday. You know, we told you we got hit on NVIDIA, but you know what? We don't cry over spilled milk. You know, that's not what we do around here. We just come back and put up digits again. And that's what it is, right? Look at Robinhood right now. There it goes, man. That's a hot dog cannon right there, right? Robinhood is now 50 cents in the money to the upside, $2 for NVIDIA. And now let's see what's happening with Rivian as we're long here at 1580 right there. Neil, you got anything over there? What's going on?
Just being patient. Like Rivian, I missed Rivian by about 15 cents. I wanted 15 to the downside. It just bounced at 15.35. So that's a $1.15 move to the downside on Rivian, and I think still trending. So I don't want to necessarily jump in way too early. I have 14.5 as the kill spot. So I think several opportunities in front of 15 and then 14.5 are going to be the play for me. We knew this was a possibility that this was going to do a bit of a flush, and that's what's happening on Rivian. If it puts in a higher low, I don't mind a 15.5. But I'm going to stick to what's been working for me, which did yesterday. So a little patience off the open never hurt.
Never heard. That's the best thing to do. But right now, it's digit time right now. So patience is great. And we had patience today for sure, man. We waited for Robinhood to come into that level, right? We could have been buying it earlier. But right now, it is an app. And look at Rivian now starting to go. We're going to go 3 for 3 right now. Put those numbers up. Let's see what happens with Rivian, though. Into the 80s, into the 90s. Let's go with Rivian. Hopefully some nice upside moves. Robinhood really kicking it off right now again here today. Oh, man. Oh man, what a big day it's been here today. We're cooking it up. Shout out to Chef Joe. Shout out to everybody here trading today. It's an active one. It's a doozy. It's a banger. There goes Rivian right now through 16. Come on, Rivian. Let's get going right now to the upside. Man, this is a big day. We battle back, man. That's what you got to do. Got to have that in you. Got to have that dog. Got to have that fight. This is day trading, man. If you don't got it, there's the door. What's up, Adara?
Lots of these small caps running around again this morning, including OPTT. This one, penny stock, just at day's highs, about $8 million market cap for this one. It does have a catalyst here, trading higher after signing an agreement to deliver some marine power systems to the U.S. government. So government contract here for OPTT, guys.
Opting into a government contract. So Yeah, I don't think you want to be looking at that name today. Not when there's so much that's going to be moving. So Rivian just popped to 16. It's already back in that 15.75 range. We're looking for that lower high. We'll see if we're able to get it. We're also getting a bit of a dip here not AMD. I wanted to say NVIDIA, but that brings me to AMD, which I still like shorts. If it's not going to give a 163, pre-market high is going to be the level. That's 161. We said short pops on this until proven otherwise, and it looks like we're not going to get that 163, so we start looking for that pre-market high. That's just been the play every single time. Tesla, I'm on the bid. It broke out 188. We're not going to see 185 or 182. So if I'm looking for a dip and like the longs, the first step is it breaks out, go back into this pullback into previous highs. So Rivian just gave me 63s. It's looking to put in that higher low as we speak.
Oh, yuck, Rivian. Yeah, good job getting out there on up there near $16 for Rivian. I mean, come on. And then right now, Robinhood, I was just like, what? We just got huge prints there on Robinhood. Like, you want to talk about what we did yesterday on Rivian? I mean, this play on Robinhood was basically, I told you we had too many shares. We were trying to get out, but then it just blasted up. So good little play there. Wow, Rivian just really tanking in right now on that one. So yikes for Rivian coming in into $15. So yeah, we'll wait on this one. Good thing we got those outs up there near 16 as Rivian coming right in there into $15 right now. A nice little smokage happening right now on RIVN to the downside as, you know, still up. Obviously, it's going to be a good day here, but yeah, Rivian making the most of this move back down into $15. Little bit of a profit take there. I mean, look, we are already saying that this is a definite sell spot for Rivian. So looks like people agreeing with that one early, and the shorts don't seem to be scared. It looks like they might be piling on more right now for Rivian. So all right, that's that play. It's good to have been trading this morning for Hood and Nvidia. Let's see if Rivian can find that base as well.
Yeah, it needs to find that base for sure. AMD's getting real close to the short. We're not in yet, but it's breaking this down. We like breakouts of lows, but I always want to see it push back up a little bit. So Rivian did not hold 15.5, and it comes into 15. I tried the 15.5 level, immediately out. We're going long in front of 15, and then I'll try 14.5 as well. Chipotle, Chipotle's on the New York. Chipotle is dipping. And remember we said it's not split adjusted, so I have to zoom in for you guys to see, unfortunately. I have it on another chart. But it's dipping in. There's that 63. This is essentially the 50-period SMA on the daily at $62.75. So that's where I was looking for a bounce. Chipotle, didn't really think we'd get a chance at this trade, but it's absolutely tanking. Looks like it wants to make a test of this 50-period on the daily Adara.
Keep an eye on AIEV. This company is Thunder Power. This is actually one that just had a business combination. So this was a special purpose acquisition corp. Started trading here on the NASDAQ as AIEV only 3 days ago. This is its third day. Nice EV look here, up about 90% for this EV company, guys, AIEV.
So we talked about the split being a headwind for Chipotle there when you guys threw it over to me. You know, I mean, that's exactly what it's been here today. We said it's a tailwind, pre-split, headwind, post-split, and we used NVIDIA as an example that it was having a struggling time to get, you know, anywhere after the split. Then it took a couple days and blasted right back up to the upside there. So CMG right now probably going to find a base, and it might have already done that down there at 63. So you could definitely watch out for that. But again, with the market kind of just, you know, flat-ish right now off the open, I could see Chipotle trying to find that base in and around here. But again, remember, huge move. And I can't show it here on the daily because it doesn't show it, but we did have a nice, well, I guess it does. We did have a nice move heading into this number, this split. We got a great earnings report, so a nice move back there for Chipotle. Yeah, Rivian down here at 1450. So again, possible long area one more time here. It's just too bad that I didn't sell everything I owned on this name, but there it comes right back into 1470, 1450 here for Rivian.
Yeah, so 15 broke, got out, it tried to bounce at 14.5. Looks like it got very, very close to it. I jumped back in above the 3/4 mark. What I can tell you about Chipotle is it might be cheaper, but the spread wasn't all that much better. Like, it bounced off this bottom. I was trying to get it on the way back up. The spread opened at 25 pennies on this stock, so we'll let this one calm down. That's just a little bit.
Oh, Robinhood.
The whole point of a stock trading after split is you want it to be a little bit more calmed down. So we take our out, we get back in. I said 1450 is the kill spot for me on Rivian, so we're long in front of that. When you're anticipating a dip buy and it comes down, I don't want to be wrong forever. I want to take my ins, take my outs. AMD's starting to come back up, so we might be able to grab that short in there. Going to make the adjustment if we cannot get a 123 on NVIDIA. It's already put in one higher low at 125, so I might just respect that level. And as far as Tesla goes, we are canceling our dip in Tesla to 188. 191 just got taken out on Tesla. First out on Rivian is going to be back at the 15 level. It's retesting it. Holy crap, Tesla.
Yeah, let's get going here with Rivian. Let's get going with NVIDIA as well. So yeah, we have an upsized position in Rivian. There is no doubt about that one. So if this goes up, let's see what winds up happening here with Rivian. Again, you know, trying to make something happen. You know, we got to try. So here we go for Rivian. We're long at 1520s right now with a shit ton of shares. So let's see what winds up happening here with Rivian, and hopefully it gets back up through that 1520 marker or so on that one. And Neil, yeah, you got a good idea there with 125 right there with that NVIDIA. And again, the mark that came through. Let's see if we can get that one more time for NVIDIA. We should have probably bought that dip, but we're already out at 127 for $2. We still would like to see a little bit of a bigger move on that one for sure for NVIDIA. I don't even have any offers out right now. Okay, Rivian.
There's 10.
Let's go, man. See if we can actually put something up here on Rivian. Nice move up. We're waiting for 19s. There it is, bang. All right, Rivian right now is an absolute moonshot here. We get excited because it's money being made here. Let's go 28s. If we can get this, we will be happy. Remember, our long was 22s, and we talked about having shares there and not afraid to say that. So there it goes. Nice upside move here. And again, we'll talk about when we get taken out, right? We talked about that with NVIDIA, but we also have to talk about when we got these wins on board as well. So there it is, man. Nice trade on Rivian to be able to hold that and hopefully now get quite a big winner on board right here. We just got out of 40% of what we had though, because again, we held this too far against us. Now let's see if it wants to get back upside. Wow, we have 0 LFT right now, but we're gonna go over to Adara right here.
Great look for Albemarle this morning. ALB on the NYSE. This one up 6.5% right now. Pretty strong volume candles off the open as well. Announcing that they're planning some more lithium auctions to increase market transparency in the lithium space. Worth noting as well, they do have a short float of about 13.6% ALB, guys.
All right,
Just saying, should have bought more Tesla when it was giving you those opportunities in that consolidation. We'll get there in a second. Chipotle's spread is trying to close up a little bit. So it held at 63. So it dipped down again, held 63. So I'm going to give it to that half. I just feel like it's a little different from what I was expecting. So less shares, bigger range. Instead of risking 30 cents, maybe risk 50 to 60 cents. I'm almost out of Rivian on that little push to the upside. It just took 15.30, and then you've got a bit of a wall forming here at the 30 level. VWAP's at 16. We get to 16. I'm just going to take it out there. Tesla, where can you even adjust to at this point on Tesla? You just patiently wait for maybe a VWAP retracement because this stock is going, and all kinds of gone. I'm not chasing it up here. It's 942. That's not the time. Apple starting to pull back in. If it loses 210, we're still waiting for 209. That is the level for Apple. Looks like we have a decent chance of picking that one up.
Oh, wow. What a day today. That was real fun on Rivian, was it not? I mean, now we're into the 40s. Oh, yeah. Good job there. And yeah, for those of you that have been watching the Market Recap show or listening to what I've been saying on that show over the last couple of days, we talked about this yesterday, even with, Adara will know this. We talked about this with Brian Shannon yesterday, and about how I was saying I really, really liked this base. And you guys, we talked about this even yesterday on this show, how this long is probably what's happening into 200, then up to 210, then up to 220. So yeah, man, great. Wow, Rivian right now, guys, will be, I don't know if it'll be P&L number one, but right now it is Rip City, and we are now at, This is how you battle back, right? Like right now, today, we'll be pretty huge right here, and just stay confident, right? Some people were saying, you want to know how do you overcome the day after that loss, right? I mean, and it's just like we got hit on NVIDIA, and then we put up, right after we got hit on NVIDIA, we put $1 winner on JP Morgan. We put, or no, I think it's 80 or 90 cents on JP Morgan, then $1 plus on Apple. And then we just come back today and just do ho-hum stuff like this. Have $1.20 in the money right now on NVIDIA. We have 50 cents plus on Robinhood. That's low. We had about 70 cents there on Robinhood. And right now, who would have thought this? We talked about this yesterday. We made Dollar Club members out of Rivian traders, and today we make Dollar Club members again, right there off that bottom of 50. We're long right now at 1480. So I mean, Rivian right here making money right now in for all traders today. Great job on Rivian. And you know what we have here on the sticky note, and we're going to go to Adair in 1 second. I just want to say today's going to be a big day. Needless to say, look at this: Rivian, NVIDIA, Robinhood. Right now, P&L 1, 2, 3 there, and shout out to some of the traders behind us that are putting damage on the board with Tesla. So right there, Hood, NVIDIA, Rivian, Tesla, 1, 2, 3. It's good to be long today on these names. It's also good to be Adara over at the desk.
Another EV name making some moves here, in addition to Rivian, is going to be Faraday Futures, FFIE. This one does have a pretty decent short float. I'm seeing a short float of just under 7% right now. They did announce on Monday that they're planning to regain NASDAQ compliance by having a stock split ratio of anywhere from 2-to-1 for a reverse split to 40-to-1, so a bit of a range there. They also announced yesterday a purchase plan with their global CEO, Matthias Eit. No news from today, but FFIE near high of days. Nice look here with strong volume, guys.
Faraday making its move. One of the reasons I'm be patient, look, I said VWAP $16, going to jump out. It looks like the sell could still come back in for Rivian. You always talk about what's going to be next. If it's a retest, 2 places could go long again, back in front of 14.5, which we call the Alamo, at least for myself. And then if it puts a higher low at 15, I still like that level as well. Didn't work the first time through at 15, didn't work at 15.5. So I'm looking for a higher low. That's the best case scenario. Even if it breaks VWAP, longs over 16 can be a play for us here. Apple, okay, Apple's starting to bid a little bit here, so we're not necessarily going to get that 209 just yet. Here comes Tesla trying to pull back in. I think you got to be real patient with Tesla. That's a big move to the upside for Tesla. The breakout, clearly the big one that you wanted to have. And Carvana, I paid for the locates. I wanted this thing to break 130. It doesn't matter what you want, it's what's happening. So we hit this bounce here. At some point, needs to start taking out these highs, or I got to start thinking about the possibility of a short. It's a 52-week high. I keep saying all-time high. It's a 52-week high potential failed break if Carvana cannot reclaim that 129 area. Still waiting for the offer on AMD. It's about the only thing that I knew I wanted to have short. Carvana was kind of an if-then statement if it failed to break out. Still going to get that short in AMD as long as it wants to give it to me off 161. But we got to be patient. The market's going up. When the market's going up, you let the short come to you.
Yeah, I'm just going to sit here and just like we said, be patient for the longs, or be patient. Did you say beach towel? Yeah, I know. I mean, I wish. So, like I said, man, today will be a monster day for us, and just congratulations for everybody. As Sharif just says, go to the beach, and he's right. But then, I'm already doing that next week. So, right here, Rivian monster, man, up to $16. That's the kind of, you have to have confidence in your plays. And by the way, I got to give a big shout out to the guys behind us. Shout out to Max. Shout out to Wayne for putting up numbers there behind us. And we'll just keep on going. And shout out to Eric and some of the big guys behind us. Big dog Brankel's in the back. And again, today's a big one, man. It's Obi Trice, not Thrice today. He's going to put up some numbers for you. Josh putting up digits. Yannick. Everybody putting up numbers there today. So it's been a good one, needless to say, as a lot of the ideas starting to work out. There goes the NASDAQ, and right now we'll props it up again. You got to have the good vibes, man. We got to talk about it when the trades are hitting. It's clear as day. You could see some of these ideas hitting through, and just like people write down sticky notes, right? all of us have our little notes. And why the heck would I not be long Rivian when I have it written down here as the #1 idea? When Robinhood goes into the exact level that I write down of 2250, we hit that, bang, that's a big winner. And then we go over and we say, wait a second, who's the beast here? It's NVIDIA. Yesterday we lost short. We flip our brain around. We write down 125 long. We hit it once and twice, and there it is. Now that's $2 in the money. The P&L keeps on rising here, and that's exactly what it wants to do. So we're going to let it go as Rivian right now breaking through $16. Oh boy! Shout out to the man, the myth, the legend himself in the back. It's Obi. We're going to get out another one right here for us. Obi, yeah, let's go on that one. Big day alert. Big day alert. I hope you guys can sense that. It's a huge one, and just keep up the good vibes. And yeah, we'll keep on pushing it for you guys. It's only 9:50. Look at the energy. Look at the trades.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. And whether you have a lot, whether you have a few, whether you have many, it's all about finding the right ones. That's what we're all about here. That's why the sticky notes out there. That's why the boys do their meeting in the morning. I always hear Wayne on the I don't know what you call it, the head
preparation, baby.
The guys sitting at their desk listening in, so I know Tesla was a bit of a focus for them. There was just a failed breakout on Rivian at 16. So it doesn't really hold that break. I jumped in and out of it. I still think it can be a dip buy. I'd rather it hold a bit above VWAP to try to work another long. Or if it just fails, we're going 15.50, 15 even. Still no short in AMD. But I can tell you, yesterday, this is about the same setup. It's a similar setup. It's not the same setup. It's a similar setup and structure to what NVIDIA did. If I'm not going to get the dip buy I want, that happened yesterday as well. It eventually broke out a local range top. That was 122.60, and I took a 23 break because I wouldn't take a random price as a breakout trade. Now the opening range top is 127.20. So yesterday, I waited for it to get to a round number to go long. Today, I'm just going to take the break that's available. This was my only, it wasn't my only trade, but it was a good trade for me on NVIDIA. So we're going to go for that breakout here, 127.20 on NVIDIA.
Yeah, good one there. Wow. By the way, Rivian right now is $1.50 in the money for Rivian. You know, we talked about that on the pre-show there where we said yesterday we were able to take dollars on this name, and we thought that today for sure had the possibility for that sort of pedigree. So, yeah, we had to hold it. We had to have confidence in that one. Today it works out. It's Rivian, $1.50 in the money. NVIDIA, $2. Robinhood, 70 cents. And the beat goes on and on and on and on again. What's up, Adara?
Grindr pushing higher here. GRND here on the NYSE. This one up over 10%. Having its investor day today, issuing some guidance, seeing annual revenue growth of 20 to 25% through 2027 and raising its 2024 revenue growth view. So revenue growth upside ahead of its investor day for GRND.
All right, good one. Good look there.
There was some jokes about Grindr yesterday, but I won't go there. Micron is dumping a little bit here. So I'm always looking for relative strength and weakness. So Micron going into their earnings is still putting in higher lows. I'm still sticking with AMD because of the structure. But if this market fails at 20,000, I'm talking about the NASDAQ. If the NASDAQ curls at the $20,000 level and I don't get AMD, Micron at VWAP would be the backup in terms of looking for any kind of a short. So we're pretty close to it now. AMD doesn't seem to want to break VWAP, and I'm waiting for a 161 level here on it. Just no chance as of yet. And Tesla's still holding that high. No dip. We're about 30 cents away from that NVIDIA breaking out that top. It's a random price. It's 127.20. But if it breaks it, I'm still going to take it just like yesterday. If it worked yesterday at 122.60, then take the level that presents itself. And I do want this VWAP. Just have to wait for it to come back down in here on Tesla. One of the strongest names off of that open. If it can hold a dip, we do like a little bit of Tesla. So backup plan is going to be MU, but I'll be focused on AMD as we're about 20,000 right now on the NASDAQ.
So guys, just looking again at P&L wise and then just percentage of traders green today, I feel like this has been the best day in a hell of a long time for this office. So a big congratulations to everybody behind me for doing an awesome job here so far today. So again, a big shout out to all the boys and girls behind us that are trading away and hopefully putting up, well, I can see already having a fantastic day. So congrats to everybody. All right, so Palantir right here, as we continue to move around, this was a big trade for us yesterday. We were able to buy 24s or change, wasn't it yesterday? 24 and change. Yeah, we had down here. This was, I mean, again, was a great trade yesterday for PLTR. Let's see if we can keep the good vibes going right now and try to break through this high of 24.70 right there on, what do you got over there, Fabian? Was that a little bit of a donut action there? What is that? Bring that over here. Let me see. Let's show everybody what you got over here. We're having a good day. Watch out, Silverback. Here we go. Here comes Fabian right now, coming through. Oh, he got a little lemon poppy seed there. And what is that? Some sort of a Danish, apple Danish right there. All right. Go make Ramin happy over there. And we've got to make someone else happy right now. It's Adara. She's over at the desk. I don't know if you could tell, but we're having a really good time today. And yeah, part of it is what's been happening here in the market. Let's go. What's up, A?
GitLab having a great time over here as well. Great day for GTLB, up right now about 8%. No news on this one today. Yesterday it achieved this federal designation here in progress from this federal risk assessment program, but lots of social media attention today on Twitter, especially in the last few minutes for GTLB as it pushes higher, guys.
GitLab, I feel like ever since that data breach, I don't like them. That's not good news for them, but it is what it is. I haven't looked at that chart in a while. 20,000 just tagged to the dime on the futures. Although the futures don't trade in dimes, you know it's just a euphemism. So I had to go to the backup play because we didn't have a short opportunity that I liked in AMD, but VWAP on Micron just came in here. So we're in it. I did add on the way down, like I had 55, and then we added at 40 change. So our average price is gonna be 44. We'll stop it out if it cannot hold this 142.80 level on Micron. So if it breaks it out, then we'll understand that, hey, the futures are going, it's an up day, the stock is up, they got earnings tonight, but the trend is your friend till the end. It would have been AMD, but unfortunately, AMD just not setting up where I would like it. Kind of a messy day for AMD. I'm just gonna cancel that offer. If we get it, we get it. Rivian still looking for, to me, I wanna see it hold above 16 even. It's attempting to do that now, so there's your wick under, there's your test, higher low at 1580. So if it holds this VWAP right now, gonna look to jump back in it. I wanted buyers above 16 to get me back into this stock. So the only position we got the short on in Micron. I might still take AMD if it's setting up the same way, but for now it's gonna be Micron.
Yeah, this NVIDIA, just because we're talking about the chips, we got some out there at 127 again. So we have two outs at 127, those are $2, but it's not breaking through 127, so I'm kind of going to just leave this one alone. If we do get a pullback, I'm actually going to even cancel the pullback for right now and would rather wait for it. We are very light. We only have 10% left. Actually, maybe even less than that. I don't even know how many shares we had actually at the beginning of this whole trade. It was a little bit insane. The one thing that I am most, for me, proud of today, sometimes we have too many shares in one, not enough in the other. But today, net-wise, pretty much made the exact same amount on Robinhood that we made on Nvidia, that we made on Rivian. And that's a $125 name, a $25 name in Robinhood, and a $15 name in Rivian. So today I feel like, although they're all 1, 2, 3 here on the trade ideas, we actually layered them and traded them hopefully appropriately. I mean, obviously we always wish we had more shares when we're right and less shares when we're wrong. But if we exit right here, right now, we're at the highest spot we've been at. Why? Because look where Rivian is. Rivian's at its highest spot. We got something out right there at 1620. It's still holding above VWAP. So yeah, I like the stock right there. Nvidia still holding above VWAP. You gotta like it right now. I'm not gonna drop this last piece. I actually think we can take out this 127.50. So that would be another play, even to add to this spot there. And then Robinhood, I mean, my favorite story, I guess, of all time, maybe, based on what we're doing today. As there it goes right now. I don't think we're robbing from the rich and giving to the poor here, because anybody that's invested in Robinhood over the last little while has just made a crap ton of money over the last 2, 3, I can say 2-3 months, but basically since January bottom of $11 up to 23. Man, this name is working. And you know what? Let's work it out for ourselves as well and take that 70 cents there for Robinhood. So I don't know, man. I mean, the market's just hovering. We just bounced off 20,000. We've sort of already talked about some of the successes here this morning. It's only 9:58. So let's keep those feelings going. I know that you had looked at CMG just for a minute. I'm going to have a quick look. Oh, man. Okay, so here's another missed opportunity. We said, oh, it looks like 63 is going to be the hold there. And it sure was, man. It went to 62.70. Like, yeah, so that was a great long there. Missed opportunity. But, hey, we'll be back in that name, I promise you, at some point.
I want to buy that in my personal account at some point.
Yeah,
I just have no idea where I want it, to be honest with you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But what a great long today in the trade, because we had looked at 63 and did not pull the trigger. So we'll keep that in mind. And we had mentioned even on here before we went live, or before the market turned on, was that we were waiting for a level. I think we found it there at 63. These bottoms, 62.80. So we'll wait for 63 again.
Yeah, I think look, Chipotle is obviously a good stock. Probably should have looked a little bit at Kava today, but I think, that's for a hot minute. Kava might, in sympathy, get unpopular when people can invest in Chipotle. That was my thesis, but I didn't want to look at Kava. There's so much to look at. Rivian, here's the hold of, it broke and then fail break at 16. Then there's the hold of VWAP for me. I'm trying to get some 19s out there. Robinhood just pulled back inside of a dip buy. Micron is working downside as we speak, so sometimes you have to make a bit of a pivot. I knew I wanted to short something at 20,000, and I knew I wanted to look at a weak chip name. My thought was AMD, but AMD didn't really set up all that well, so we went to the first thing that came to my mind, which was Micron. That put in a lower high. 141, I want to look out on Micron. The reason for this, when I zoom back out here, this is right at the previous close. So it held previous close on the way down. In a strong market, I want to go station to station if I'm against the grain. Remember, strong market, I'm anticipating that good stocks will catch bounces. I'm going to try and take this 141. Let's get to Adara for happening now.
Just getting these new home sales numbers in here. New home sales for the month of May coming in at 619,000. So this is going to be lower than the previous number, 698,000 for the month of April. Also lower than the consensus of 640,000. We also have new home sales month for a month change, negative 11.3%, so much lower than the previous number, positive 2%, and the forecast of 2.9% to the upside. So a bit of an unexpected drop here. Not much of a reaction on the SPY, still slightly down in the day here. Same with the NASDAQ. We had a bit of a fall in the NASDAQ and the SPY a few minutes ago here. Lots of stories to talk about, of course. We have NVIDIA's investor meeting coming up at 12 p.m. Lots of moves in the EV space as well. Tesla popping higher above 190 for the first time in quite some time. We also have Rivian with its partnership with Volkswagen. A couple other names to keep an eye on here include Apple. This went up over 1%, getting an upgrade to a buy rating from neutral from Rosenblatt here, raising its price target from 196 to 260. We also have Chipotle here on watch, of course, after it's won a 50-to-1 stock split. This one slightly down in the day here, but lots of traders keeping an eye on it. CMG, AAPL, and so many other names to watch out for, guys.
Apple giving back. Tesla starting to give back a little bit. Rivian does not hold on to that VWAP after all, but in my style of trade, it's take it here, get it out right there. If we look for another opportunity, it's got to be 15, 1550, 1450. Those are the levels we like. We're patient waiting for that dip. If it wants to do it again, we'll go ahead and grab that. Still not really getting the love on that Micron 141. It could be putting in a higher low here. So I want to respect it. 141.5 is where it seems to be bouncing on MU. AMD still in the pocket. And then the last one here, Tesla. Tesla just bounced rapido off of VWAP. Sometimes it's real fast. That was real fast on Tesla. 190.150 was a blink of an eye, and it was back at 192. So I think Tesla, look, VWAP is going to be a thing, but it might have already been a thing, for lack of a better word. We'll see if we can't get back into it, but I was trying to catch it on the way back up. Sometimes you sit on the bid, you get it. Other times, it's the right play to be patient. In this case, you just wanted to sit on the bid blindly for that bounce off VWAP. It's just a line on a chart, but it's working for Tesla.
What's working right now is Robinhood. Look at that out. We had just before we went to Adara, we took some out at 23.30 there for Robinhood. So let's just sound sirens for that one. I mean, look, getting out is better. Like when you're getting in, like now I get out there. So when I'm getting back in there, it's like making 40 cents just by reloading the trade. And we're not going to do that at all right now. And the same thing true of Rivian. I mean, we just got out of this one at 16.20. It's at 15.50. So part of it is not just finding the winners, as Neil was mentioning there. It's about trying to get out and making sure that, you know, you're able to get out for those wins and or capture some profits, because it's no point in doing things like this if you don't actually put something in your pocket. So we did take that out there on Rivian, and we talked about how light we were on this one as well. Under 10% here on Rivian, under 10% on Robinhood, and under 10% now on NVIDIA. As we're just, honestly, I'm just waiting for something else to happen. The market's not doing a heck of a lot. We've already hit, like we're basically been up 3 times and went yard 3 times. So we're just going to sit here and wait for that big contract to come through. Hopefully we're a free agent. You get signing after a game like this, right? But we'll wait and see what happens. Now, there goes NVIDIA, by the way. You know, we can hit this for this one, man. This is now 230 in the money off of, again, our #1 idea today with Rivian Hood and NVIDIA. There goes NVIDIA right back there to the upside and just absolutely tearing faces off right now. We were caught in this yesterday. Today, we flip it up and go the other way. It's NVIDIA, and it's a monster.
Also, apparently a monster. FFIE is going buck wild here. Gonna be too late. I'm gonna pay for locates very quickly. I don't know what the news is. We talked about these guys doing a reverse split. Will it happen? Will it not happen? All that good stuff. But if it gets anywhere near 80 cents, it's gonna be a fade. It'll be relatively cheap shorts, but we'll get there in a second. Yeah, it's already pulling back. The short at 60 is probably going to have to wait. NVIDIA just took a local high again, so we're looking breakout trades. Got to work right away. It just took this level here at 127.5 without getting the dip buy where we want it. I'm just looking for every single flat top break on NVDA until it doesn't work. Micron, even with this break, is still holding. It pulled back, but still about 20 cents in the money, so still looking pretty solid there. FFI, you just want to process it. See if I just want to see what the price is. It's probably going to be relatively cheap on FFIE, but Micron still holding underneath VWAP. If we fail 20,000 again, then I guess I just rinse and repeat it. But we haven't failed 20,000 yet on the futures. But Micron's still holding underneath VWAP, still a relatively weak name. We'll make sure we get it. You have to go all caps. Anyways, I'm just going to get on the offer of Micron. For some reason, when you input shorts, you have to put in all caps. I don't know why they do it that way, but that's the way that they do it. So I'm on the offer here, trying to jump right back into Micron. I didn't catch that, Fabian. You're going to have to let me know. No, it has nothing to do with that. It's just probably a formatting thing. Robinhood, we re-entered into Robinhood. Well, we entered at a new price into Robinhood. I was waiting for 22.40. It wants to make this bounce off of 22.75, which was also a key level. So I grabbed it at the 90s on the way back up. Gonna scalp some because I should have it in the 80s. That would be the better price here on Robinhood.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic to get that price. I'm not even going to reload it for Robinhood. We're still long here at 22.55. It's under the 50 period for me, but still that 200 is looking real nice. So that could be a level there for sure. So good look on that one. We're just going to stay long the king with NVIDIA, now almost $3 in the money and breaking higher here as it continues to go. So just good vibes all around today. All right, Tesla, I mean, might as well. Let me just look at CMG one more time. Oh, that's going to be my missed opportunity for sure of the day there. And then, like I said, right now, Tesla leading the way back up. Wow, what an opportunity at 192 again there for Tesla. Could have we found something? I mean, it doesn't quite get back to VWAP, but on such a strong name, when there's a gap, you wait for VWAP, and right there, it does not come in, but close enough. If I was looking at that, VWAP was 50 cents away, maybe 60 cents away, definite take right there. So we'll see if that can happen again there for Tesla as it's up and away, man. I mean, the last time we bought this name was on earnings. I think it was in the 170s. So this has been a good little play. We didn't buy anything down here as we went into 140, 150. We're long, again, we've been investing in it for a long time, but that's why I keep saying our most recent buy was down into there. But I still think 200 is upcoming there for Tesla as that continues to work. And wow,
no doubt,
there goes NVIDIA. Yeah, shout out to Gwen Stefani. There goes NVIDIA right now. $1, $2, $3 now in the money for NVIDIA as yeah. Big alert today, big day alert, and again, just hope that everybody took some of the trades that we had mentioned because bangers all around here today. We're 3 for 3, and it's going exactly the way we thought it would today. To the long side, I mean, it was a downside, but we played the right names, and I think that we had the right catalyst. We had the Rivian catalyst there. Here goes FFIE continuously going higher. We had the Rivian catalyst. We had the Hood catalyst on the upgrade, and then we flipped up everything on NVIDIA and just said what we're even doing going short. So, and then we talked about CMG finding a level, which we had talked about verbally, but I didn't take it. So that was, you know, you can only get credit for things you take, I guess. And that's it right there. So, all right, let's just move off of that and go over, did you get your FFIE process?
I have the shorts in FFIE. I don't know if, like, the first time it failed at 60, I'm going to adhere to a rule. When it gets to an even dollar level and you're shorting it because it's an even dollar, if you don't get the first one, I'm not taking the second one because it's probably too bullish. It already pulled back from 59 to 52. Like, that's the move. If you don't get that move, why do you want to just stick your neck out in front of it when that's not even like a monster level on the daily chart or anything like that? So it's got to get to 80 cents, and that'll be the next spot. If it flushes from here, then I've failed. But it is what it is. I won it the first time. I wasn't quick enough to get the locates. I pulled the offer on Micron. Remember my condition? So there's 20,000. I was gonna reload. I was sitting on the offer to reload underneath VWAP, but the second we broke out, I just pulled the offer, left my stop in, and then we stop out. Don't have to adjust the order. We have a key that'll allow you, regardless of what your position is, whether you've added or not, it just takes out the entire thing. NVIDIA took that local break of 127.5. It just got to 128 and pulling back. I think the 127 can now turn into a bit of a dip buy. And then Robinhood tagged 23, came back in. I'm trying to get some 80s. I want my price a little bit better to that 22.75 area on Robinhood.
Oh, yuck.
Tesla is still just going. VWAP's going to obviously adjust as we go throughout the day, but still an absolute monster. We're going to wait for the next available pullback. This could be it. Just tag 194. Bit of a dip happening now. You could see it come back into VWAP. Just want to be ready for it if it sets up, but it's always a big if.
All right, we can check out FDX. I mean, I'm actually really not doing anything. I was waiting for Apple to come through. We have crude inventories at 10:30, so that's a number. There's really nothing. We didn't have anything as far as Fed speak or anything like that written down. I also tweet out, of course, every single day, which I see Neil started as well, the economic calendar right here. So you can go find that right here today, just new home sales at 10. So, you know, yesterday we sort of rolled out, you can go find that at Trader TV, Sean. Yesterday we rolled out with bunch of Fed speak, right? And so today we just don't have that coming out. So we'll have to just be patient with it, see what happens now into the rest of the day. And we had talked about it over and over again that today was Investor Day for NVIDIA. So again, not to still talk about the same names, but we've done, you know, put up the numbers where we needed to today on the names that we needed to. So I'm going to try to find some more. Let's look at Palantir. Palantir was a big trade. Yesterday we had one red name, NVIDIA. Today it's P&L number one. You know, so it goes from horrible yesterday to my best stock today. Palantir is a red name, so this is starting to pull back. Generally speaking, we won't look for names that are red when the market is green. So I think we either have to wait for Palantir to really show us that it wants to get red today to the downside here in and around 24.25, I think, which is only 25 cents from now. So that could be a good trade opportunity there if we're lucky enough to get that. And that would be, of course, the long down there near 24. That good breakout there, I guess, for NVIDIA for you at 127.50. We are lucky enough just to have, as Neil said, done the research earlier and really wanted 125. So the way NVIDIA trades in the pre-market is very, much like it's open. Lots of liquidity, everything there. So we really traded that. We let it go down to the bottom there before making that buy of 125, giving ourselves a stop at least. So again, if you're going to stop out at 124.30 and now have $3, that's pretty good risk to reward. So we'll continue to hold on to that one and see where it goes. But I definitely like that NVIDIA trade. I know you were in and out there on Micron. So let's have a quick look at that one. Okay. Nothing really going on there for me. Again, maybe a move up here. I'd rather stay away from it heading into earnings. So we'll wait for Micron. And again, Robinhood still. Robinhood will actually be currently the P&L number one, just because I'm still in NVIDIA, but we still do have a piece of Robinhood here at 23.50. So again, great trading today. And for me, it was about confidence. Just taking the fills where they came in, based on past and prior research. So stay in the lane, stay what's been working, and there it is again today. It's Robinhood. Something getting a pop?
Yeah, no, I heard something. In our ear, they've been popping off about Faraday like every 2 seconds, and I just got into it, and I heard the guy. He's not talking about Faraday. The only news here is the reverse split from yesterday or earlier in the week. It doesn't really matter what day they announced it. I went for the dip buy. Obviously, we didn't get that short, so congratulations. When I just said I wasn't going to go into the short the second time through, that would have worked, but I'm playing 2 places to look for a dip. The first one's already happened, previous highs. If I'm looking at a breakout play and I'm buying that dip back in, it's the previous wick high at 48. So I'm long here at 50.8 or 50.9 as I got a couple of entries, one on the way back up here, so 50s, and then bought some 51 halves. So if it breaks 48, I have like a 47 change stop on this, and then I'll look at VWAP as another possible play. So now that you're in the pullback stage, buy the dip, play back into the high, hold through any kind of a breakout that may or may not happen on Faraday Futures. So was able to get some VWAP there in Robinhood, so I want to be getting shares back at this 22.75. That's where it put in the bottom, and I think we should be patient, waiting for that level and that level alone. I just look back over at AMD, and it's getting pretty darn close to that top. The market is at 20,000 again, so there is a little bit of weakness coming back into the market. If it fails that, suddenly from Micron back to square one, AMD does not break the highs. At least not yet, but it could happen. This was the first name that I wanted short. I pivoted to Micron because it was setting up better, but I'm right back to AMD. 160.25 afternoon highs, current lower high, and 20,000 being tested as we speak. So I'm not in it yet. I'd like to see the futures start to come down, and then I want to join a curl in AMD, only if it happens. If it just keeps on going, I wait for 161.
Funny times here for us on the stock here. Look, I hope this is not ever going to be true, but there it is. For Profit says, New York, watch out. There's another Canadian wildfire, and its name is Katina. But no, hopefully we never get named after a wildfire. But yeah, we are pretty on fire here today, as we had mentioned. So we are looking for more opportunity. I know you're long there with NVIDIA, as you mentioned. It's right here. I'm going to wait for VWAP again. I think 120. That's basically 127, just like in Tesla when you get pullbacks. Okay, now we're really coming in on that one for NVDA.
What's all that typing?
NVDA right now. What is your out on NVIDIA, by the way? Are
127.
You 127.
Well, remember, I've scalped out almost all of it. So usually the way it'll work for a breakout trade is first even dollar scalp 2, and then look for the dip buy. The dip to me is at 127. I can't think of anything else. VWAP's different on these. It doesn't really matter. VWAP's just under 127, but I'm looking for a bounce here. If it cannot bounce off the 127, forget about VWAP. AMD, I don't know what just happened, but AMD was just at the 60. I got the short at 99 on the way back through. It's heading down into the low. So my guess is that the chips, when we hit 20,000 in the futures, the chips went first to the downside, and then the market came back in through that 20,000. So here comes that 127. I kind of just went over to AMD, and here is NVIDIA trying to bounce off that 127. So if it can, great. If it can't, I'm going to jump out. Probably could have been in Micron for a potential short, but we went over to AMD just because it looked like it was setting up better. Still the same thing happening in Hood, and FFIE is still sitting in the pocket for me. Not much change over there in Faraday. It's sitting at about 50, 49.5 to 50. If it makes a break underneath 48, we'll get back to it.
Okay. All right, we just take a 20 fill rate here on NVIDIA. Let's see what winds up happening. It just goes to 40, and we didn't get anything out. Oh, no, did we? No, we did not there on NVIDIA. So let's put an order at 127.40. See if we could just quickly make 20 cents on, like, 15% or so of what we have, and then wait for a nice little pullback. Because if we do take VWAP, we don't necessarily need to be in this name anymore. We've already sort of got the price that we've needed, and you guys have seen me many times before be like, okay, you know, we're gonna take this, and then all of a sudden we wind up having too many shares, and then when it winds up breaking, we're like, uh-oh, now we're in trouble. So let's wait to figure this out here with NVIDIA. Watch out for that 126.50 area as it just takes out 127. But we're, you know, we'll give it a little bit of room here on NVIDIA. I don't need, you know, don't need to get out right away, but we're not going to be stubborn with it. As yesterday, we know what happened when we were short this name and it just railroaded us. But right now we're long, and as it makes this move back up, let's see if we can capture some more profit here on NVIDIA.
Yeah, and if it's going to move up, I'm going to take 159.50 has just held twice at least on an AMD. I thought you'd get a bit of a lower push, but we got to be able to take this bid here on AMD. If it's going to put in a higher low, the market's still trying to go to the upside. NVIDIA's holding on for dear life. I don't want to forget about Tesla, but I'm just looking over at FFIE. Like, I have the level 2 up. There's a ton of volume going off at 50 cents. Like, it is an epic battle here at 50 cents. If it does this dip, so see this dip into 48? If it does that again and holds 48, I want to add to this position. And only because, like, it's every time it gets underneath 49 cents, there's just a big battle happening. If it ends up getting won by the longs, it might be a bigger push into the 60 than I thought before. So I want to, if it dips one more time, bounce off 48, I'm going to add about 40% to it. Just want to take advantage of it if there's this much buying. All it has to do is get back into the high of the day, but I need to see that bounce first. Tesla, we might be missing the boat. Tesla VWAP could be a thing of the past here for Tesla. The market's pulling back. You would think this would be our opportunity. In Tesla, if it isn't, we're just going to have to play the patience game. And I was just thinking about, I'm in AMD, but Micron, I got wicked out, could have jumped right back into it. If we failed 20,000, I think I'd go back to looking shorts on Micron as well. About the only two things I like short at this point, with the market ripping up. But I'm not in it. So, you know, don't have to worry about it just yet. And AMD, if we're back above 20,000, no reload. Right? Like the same thing with Micron. I'm not reloading this position if the market is breaking out. That's going to be my rule for anything short. If the market's making a fresh high, then I don't need to reload in that moment. You can always reload later.
Look, I mean, first of all, NVIDIA, we just got some out there at 40s. There on this reload. I mean, this has really been quite the day here. And it's, like, I mean, hopefully it gets better. I don't know. I mean, I like it to get better. We can always get better, right? Always can add to the net, which is what we're doing as we speak with Rivian, Hood, and NVIDIA. Let's see what happens now as we get back into 127 again. I mean, if that wasn't a banger out up there at 40, then I don't know. We'll wait to see what happens now. We told you we were sitting there at 40. It failed last time, right? So now we get some out. Let's see what happens moving forward. But first, over to Adara. It's 10:20. It's happening now, or sector watch, or small cap recap.
IWM pushing higher here, down on the day, but finding a little bit of a curl up from the lows, bit of a recovery here. Currently trying to bounce off that 199.50 area, so good look for the Russell 2000. As it's been a trend this week, lots of small cap runners today, including Faraday Future, FFIE. This one is a penny stock. This one pushing higher here, up about 80+%. Not seeing news on this one today, but lots of social media attention. Decent short float. I was seeing just under 7% as of right now. They also announced earlier this week, that they have plans to regain NASDAQ compliance by having a reverse stock split ratio anywhere from 2-to-1 to 40-to-1. So interesting look here for FFIE. Next up, we have Grindr, GRND. This one has about $1.8 billion market cap, so slightly larger here, but under $2.5 billion. They have their investor day raising their revenue growth targets, so GRND to the upside. Last but not least, WENA, a new medical. This one receiving this patent in Europe for its neurological and cognitive disease treatment. So nice look here for WENA, currently up over 100%, less than 10 million shares, guys.
And that matters. Like, volume is a big deal. Just to give you an idea in terms of volume, FFIE is going to do 1 billion shares today. You know, when penny stock, you want it to do like actual volume. Maybe it does 1 billion shares. I'm throwing that out there because it's already at 300 million and it's only 1022. So there is the dip. It does hold. It actually holds 49 and not 48. So it's, you know, a bit above 50 many times in here. So the battle did get won, at least temporarily back above 50 by the longs, holding that 48 level. Not moving the stop or anything. But at this point, you know, I said I would add to it if it does. AMD, gonna come right back into this offer. NVIDIA starting to go, but Robinhood, when the market makes a fresh high, Robinhood's given up VWAP as the market's making a fresh high. So not always the best sign in terms of relative strength and weakness. I want to see it breaking out when the market's breaking out. So we'll back off of the Robinhood bid. I was bidding 2280.
Oh, baby.
I'm no longer bidding that level on Robinhood.
Oh, baby is right, man. I mean, look at NVIDIA again. We just took 50 cents again on that name, 127.50. Just another out rate there for NVIDIA. Yeah, man, big name there. Again, you know, I'm only been in 3 names. You can ask Neil or I if we're green or red. I put that in the chat. People keep asking. Rivian, NVIDIA, Robinhood. I've only traded 3 names. We haven't traded many names today for sure. I know you've hopped into FF. Oh, you know what? One that I don't think either one of us looked. Did you have to pay for shorts and ARM? I know that's a name that you.
You do have to pay for
you do
shorts
have
and
to.
ARM.
So I, knew
I did not pay for
that.
shorts and ARM because I didn't think we'd. Look, I think it's way too strong. After yesterday, it was 150 to 160 or something on ARM yesterday. And I'm like, what levels are there up here outside of like $180 or $175? So if there's nothing significant up there, look, if it goes another $10, I got some wicked trend lines drawn from yesterday. Those are irrelevant. I'll get rid of them. If it goes to $175, I'll pay for locates, straight up. But when I looked at the chart, I'm like, I don't know. Where would you want to sit there as a resistance level? And I couldn't find anything this morning that I liked. So it'll have to be $175 on ARM. Got to watch out for Faraday. It's pressing. It's now consolidating at this level. Well, it entered twice there. Consolidating at this level. But if it cannot hold on, it's not a whole price, but it is that initial wick to the upside and then the deep pullback at 48. If we lose 48, then I'm losing this stock. At least until VWAP, where I find another level to get in. So we picked our spot, we added to it, and it's continuing to, I don't know, just go sideways and chill out here. Team PJPC just said I forgot about Nikola. I didn't. Faraday's just doing 300 million shares, that's all. And Nikola's now, like, it's not a penny stock anymore. Like, Nikola's reverse split and trading very differently. I think Nikola, I said yesterday, if Nikola holds underneath $10, it's a short. So it's above $10, so I don't think it's a short. I'll leave it at that.
All right, we'll give some back there, but you know, that's NVIDIA trading for you. So NVIDIA breaking lower. Right now, this is why you put the money in your pocket in the first place. So again, we will stay green on the name, but we did give some back. I mean, it broke through VWAP, and yeah, that's why you take it out. I mean, we are basically, we talk about this all the time. I am a scalper, and we'll wait for big moves, but we'll also make sure to take it out when it breaks. So there it goes, man, right down to 126. I don't know, like NVIDIA, I'm not sure unless you add that 125, I can review it. I'm not sure there's many other positive trades there on NVIDIA today because it was hard. Unless you got that one, I mean, right there was a great break as well, but that's right at the open of 125, 126. And then this dip buy was great, but everything else was pretty garbage right there for NVIDIA. Same thing, Robinhood continues to go lower, but again, and if you're just joining now and you're looking at the trades, I mean, we have less than 10% left on Robinhood, less than 10% left on Rivian. So these trades have been good, but just not absolutely fantastic. So lately, they were great early, but not great late. So Rivian still holding out fort for us a little bit here, and then we'll wait to buy some NVIDIA, as we wanted to wait for 125 anyways. That's where the big money was made, so you could pull back into that level again. Nice downside move as the market's not really giving anything back, but NVIDIA is giving it all back and turning red. So 125, this has been a resistance support level before. So when this moved down, if you want to take a shot, this isn't a horrible one right now on NVIDIA, but you might as well wait for 125 maybe at this point. So yeah, NVIDIA on watch
wait for this thing
right now. Yeah, I know it's been.
I just went over to Micron. At the end of the day, Rivian, I'll get to Rivian in a quick little second. Faraday broke support. We had to jump out of Faraday there. That's where our stop was. But there's a tight stop on NVIDIA. So 1, 2, 3. I had 4 trades in NVIDIA, and only one of them went pretty well as far as I'm concerned. That said, when I look at what an up day is on the stock, we'll be down less than what we made on it yesterday. That's where I want to try to keep things in the pocket. Like when you have a good day on a stock, and then you lose on it the next day, or it doesn't work out the way that you want, you just don't want it to be a multiple of that number. Try to keep things in the pocket, and then you'll have that overall consistency. So trade it at the key level, and if it breaks, wait for the next one. If it's 123, it's 123. And you have a plan of action. I'm like, if it holds VWAP, great. If it doesn't hold VWAP, I'm just getting out. Not going to hold it $1 against me. Everyone's got to have their own style, whatever works for you. AMD's broken lower. I tried to quickly pivot back into Micron and did not get it. So you're still working down underneath VWAP on Micron as the futures have now failed that 20,000 level. I just want to answer this question from MON. The wash trade, as you know, wash sale does not impact us. We are trading at real trading. It is a prop floor. We're trading firm's capital. So we can be in and out multiple times in many stocks in and throughout the day. Like we're not subject to, hey, you can only make 3 trades a week. And it's different rules everywhere, but for us, because we are prop traders, we don't fall under that. That's why you will see these different trading styles. Like I will jump out of Micron, take a stop out, look to get back in. If you just want to be short it, you could always just short this, give it a wider stop and hold it all day if that's the style of action that works for you. It's a similar thing with NVIDIA. Like if you catch a good bid, hey, maybe you want to buy it at 123, so maybe you're holding this all the way to 123 and looking for move to 130. I'm not. I'm looking for another bid to come in, as this is now absolutely tanking. What is not going down is the first question I want to ask myself. Tesla, you got VWAP. VWAP is still holding on Tesla. Apple, got to check Apple. Let me just cancel the old bid on Apple because it is now doing what Tesla's doing. So I got to adjust on Apple. I wanted 09s. Maybe like an 08 half would have been the stop, but we can throw that out the window. We got to look for VWAP in here. The next stop on AMD, which is the only thing I'm in, is a short. And if we get down to 157, I didn't think this would happen. I thought we'd be looking for some longs, and then we just play some relative weakness in the one name that was weak. I'm just going to trail this now. We didn't get a chance to add to it at VWAP because it's just absolutely flush. We didn't get a chance to jump back into Micron because what the heck is going on in the market? Adara, what's happening? Thanks, man. What the hell?
He's got these crude oil stock chain and gasoline stock chain numbers. So crude oil stock chains 3.591 million to the upside. Previous number negative 2.45 million. Gasoline stock change 2.654 million to the upside versus negative 2.280 million previously. So there's the crude oil and gasoline stock change numbers here. For crypto, we had an interesting story yesterday in the world of those ETH approvals. We have SEC Chair Gary Gensler speaking at the Bloomberg Invest Summit yesterday, saying that he thinks this approval process is going, quote, smoothly. They're currently working with the people who are looking to file these to have these S1 filings set for the SEC or the SEC approval of the spot ETH ETFs. He says that he doesn't have an exact date for this. Some traders are speculating around July, but interesting update. Apparently this process is going well so far. Bitcoin itself, after 2 very interesting days, big move downside on Monday, a little bit of a move upside yesterday, not doing too much. Bit of a doji candle here right now, just below that 62,000 level. Pretty subdued trading for the rest of these crypto-related names as well, for the most part. Ethereum slightly down in the day, just below that 3,400 level. Ripple down about 1%. Doge down about 1%, but most of these down less than 1%. A couple upside moves that are slightly larger. Tron and Avalanche both up over 1%, guys.
I mean, it happened again. NVIDIA goes down to 125 and we hit the long again and make back everything that we lost right there on that move. So again, Neil mentioned it earlier and it's 100% right. Just be patient. Why are we doing anything but being patient? We already wrote this down. 125. We already have 2 fills there. It was already my best trade of the day. So when the market comes down, we refilled the water. We saw, shout out to Hydration Nation and everybody else that's out there. And you come back in, and then Neil goes to me, what's going on with the market? I'm like, I don't know, but NVIDIA's at 125. So I just punched straight in, and there's that bottom again. It's too bad that we had left to go grab that water, but at the same time, you know, maybe you got stopped out if it broke through 125, but again, it does respect that very bottom again of, 124.50. So we're already out of 60% of this. So we're long at 125.25. We basically took 25 cents, 30 cents on the way up. Our best fill there is, our best fill is 77s. So that'll be good. We'll try to hold on. We understand that this could break again. I'm not going to reload at 125 again because we're out of 60%. I'm going to reload down here and see if we do get a drop back in here and see if we can put on something special down near the bottom. So let's wait to see if that does happen. And right now, we still got a good part on, but I want to play for the win. So we'll try to play at least for 120, into here, right? Like 126.50 would be good. That was kind of that drop zone. I wouldn't mind that little wick there as well. But I'm always going to take something out at the dollar. So if this can get up to 126, let's take, I guess, a quarter of what we have left, and then we'll get the rest out, hopefully, at a VWAP retracement, as it's still Investor Day, right? So that's still coming.
90 minutes to go, by the way, till in the Investor Day event. I don't know if the plan is, I know the last time on the midday they were able to do like a closed caption of one of these Investor Days, and you could literally, Sharif actually had the closed captioning going on in the bottom, so you could watch the show. Hopefully they're able to do that again. I thought that was pretty cool. So we'll see what Jensen and co. Are able to pull off there. I have no idea. I did say I was going to trail out of AMD. Look, I don't know what turned the market there. It's Wednesday, 10:30. It was kind of random. But when you bounced off 158, I said I would jump out of AMD. I'm going to go back over to, on the way back up, I think AMD short VWAP, although I'm showing you a 15-minute chart just to give you an idea of where the next levels might be. But I'm going to go back over to Micron because I think I might get a chance at the same level at 143. So those are the 2 places I want to shorten a pop, as we are going to Adara with maybe some insight. Oh.
Just be aware here, more weakness here for the Japanese yen against the DXY, the USD here. Currently its lowest level in almost 40 years. It's going to be 38-year lows here for the yen. There were some comments here coming from the country's top currency diplomat, Masato Kanda, basically warning that intervention could be coming, but JPY pushing lower lows of days, lowest levels since the 1980s for the yen, guys.
All right, maybe buy some
wow.
Nintendo or something over there located in Japan. Get some good deals right there on some low price stocks due to the dollar. What is not getting any lower apparently is NVIDIA. We're still long that name. Let's see if it wants to work. Yesterday we absolutely had a great trade on JP Morgan yesterday into the close. We were short. We were short up into here on this move in, right? And so we actually took it. We didn't have that fill. We had a fill, I think it was in and around here, 50s or 60s, before this really dropping into the close. So that was a short there on the bank. So although we can keep talking about, wow, come on, NVIDIA, man. The net is right now starting to go, guys. So good trading there with NVIDIA. But at the end of the day, we faded off 2 bills. So I wanted just to check back in JP Morgan to see some of the weakness, because I was like, why right here is the ES down 0.2 and the NASDAQ up 0.1? And then we had sort of noted the strength there. Although NVIDIA turned red, we had just bought that dip there, but now it's still red. Apple was holding the day a little bit, and we know that Apple is as well.
Tesla too.
Yeah, Tesla as well, but Apple 2%. Obviously the weighting in the NASDAQ much more significant than that in the ES. So Apple just continues to go, man. We wrote down 209. It never got there. And in the pre-market, we were like, man, oh man, this name is strong, boy. Because the market was going down and this name just kept on going up. And Apple just continues to go. We did not sell anything of this name, and it was our trade idea of the week. We wrote down if it gets into 202, but the lowest it got was, I guess, yesterday, right off the open, was 207. So Apple just continues to work higher and higher and higher, man. Really like this stock, and I think 220 is just a matter of days away at this point.
Yeah, I actually, on my personal account, the day that it made the move into 220, sometime earlier that day, I'd put a sell order for, it's not a huge amount, it was like 5%. of my overall position in the stock. And I was going to sell it like 220, 222. It's still good. So I think I left it good for like a month or something. So I'll have to check to see if we get back above 220. I might just adjust the order if we get close to that price. And it was just kind of funny. I thought we were going to blow through 220 that day, and I get a fill, and I could joke about how I did 220, 222. But NVIDIA, I had a scalp off 125. It got to 70s, and I took it out. I'm back on the bid at this 25 level. And then FFIE just bounced off of VWAP without me. So I joined right back pretty much where we had it before, but it's that halt price, not halt price. It's that opening range 48 level. So again, the battle happening at that level. It wicked out. I tried to get quickly back through 46, but I'm going to play at 48, and then that 46 level will become the out. I still want to be short AMD and Micron. AMD, no bounce. When NVIDIA bounces, AMD's not really bouncing anymore. So it might be an entry back at the same level that we took it out, which is fine. Sometimes you got to buy high, sell higher. Sometimes you got to sell low, buy back even lower. If we can't get a bounce here in AMD and I still want to be short, then right in here in front of 159 could just be the play. You can forget about things like VWAP if you're not going to bounce to it, although I haven't given up on Micron just yet. If we stay underneath 20,000, Micron VWAP is still a thing for me.
It's only 10:40 right now. We did talk a little bit about crypto. 61.6 and 33.7 for the two of those names coming through, of course, Ethereum and Bitcoin. You can see them at the bottom of my screen at all times. So we'll keep those there for you. 61.6 and 33.7 in case you're like, hey, where is the crypto? It's down there. All right, GameStop. I mean, look, we just got another piece out of NVIDIA. So we said we'd get something out at 126. We got it at 125.80. That just came in, again, not reloading it a lot lower, not trying to put on. So again, yesterday when it was ripping up, and no problem talking about the hit yesterday, we had wrote down 125 the same way. When it was not, we were above 50 period. It was going, and I just kept shorting it. And I was like, let's lose 126. And by the time it lost 126, we were already too short because we had liked it at 125. So we got to get out of these positions, especially when you're trading bigger shares. You got to get out when levels are breaking. I like to hold to give it a chance because often, you won't be able to pick the exact bottom of anything. So I like to use areas. So right now we'll reload that and then get out of now 70% of this on a big position. But for this now reload, we're not, too many times. I know we want to be long NVIDIA and I don't have a problem being long NVIDIA. But the thing is here it comes right back in again. I'm not reloading this. This is the stop spot for me right here, 124.50 or so. Actually, that bottom right now that I'm seeing, this is 124.25. So maybe we just use that as the local bottom. So that's what we're doing. We're bidding down into here to see if it breaks. And if it breaks, then we'll get out, right? So 124.25, that's kind of a spot for me that we want to look at. We start our bidding on Tesla right now. We are now into that name. So we found our way into Tesla off that potential bottom. So TSLA right now. Oh, did I click on it right there for you? There it is, trying to work out. It's Tesla. Let's see what winds up happening. We're long at 191.75, TSLA.
Tesla's still, I mean,
right there, 50 cents we just took.
It's not as strong. When I said Apple, Tesla's also strong. Apple was breaking highs, Tesla isn't. I'm back into Micron off of VWAP. The market's trying to get back higher. I still don't mind AMD, but Micron's the one setting up at VWAP as we speak. So we're jumping over to that name. Those are the only two things, like I said, those two things I like short, so we're going from one into the other. I just want to quickly come back to Rivian. We haven't talked about Rivian in a hot minute. Rivian just bounced off of $15. So we said we're waiting for 15. Rivian just bounced off 15. So we're jumping in here. Local bottom is 15.05. That's close enough, holding at these teens. You had to be really patient for this one coming back in, but it's time for, at least for myself, to get back into the long in RIVN.
All right. So just real quick, guys. I mean, Tesla, we said that we were waiting for VWAP to come into play. So it came into play. So we get a little piece out on that. Let's get another piece out here at 192 if we can. Oh, it's just all dark pools. There it is. Nice fill again for us right there. Hey, look, it's a quarter. But we already took some out at 192.20, 192.15. Here it is. We just took another piece out at 192. Look, we already have the stop in, man. If this breaks 191.50, we're out. So this is already a 1-to-1. Now that I see that, let me put another offer right here and just take another piece out at O's. So, I mean, this is the kind of day, and we talk about this, when you're feeling it, you're feeling it. And right now we're feeling it. We're 4 for 4 today on big names. Tesla, the names you want, Tesla, Rivian, NVIDIA, Robinhood, right? These are all big names. We don't have Tesla on here, but, you know, whoops. No worries about that. We are definitely indicated to the stocks that we're moving. I want to thank everybody in the chat there. We just move over to it and trade it. We even said it. When there's a gap, wait for VWAP. So there it is right there. Nice move back in for Tesla, putting it on the board again there. So, and it's a big, it's not only is it 4 for 4, it's a big 4 for 4 because it's Robinhood maximum shares down there to the point where we got so nervous about how many we had, and it was pre-market, so maybe a little bit reckless. Rivian, I mean, come on. You know, that hold there could have got absolutely destroyed, no doubt. But there's that 1450, 1475. Great opportunity there. NVIDIA, we've already sort of talked about that. That will be P&L number 1. And then Tesla, we're on that bid right now, and we just took it. Tesla, 50 cents in 3 minutes. So, I mean, you know, this is trading. This is what we're doing. We're doing it all the time. I'm only doing it for one more day, though. And then it's Obi sitting here for the next 6. And then I'll be back in a week and a bit. So we'll shout out to Obi, who right now, it's going to be Max, Obi, and myself right here today. Neil's trading well. Patrick, Josh, everybody, Jag, Yannick, everybody, Brankles, Mark, everybody in the back, Wayne, Eric, everybody. Big shout out to everybody there in the back. And again, you know, just hopefully you're enjoying the show, having a great time. It's about to go over to the midday show as well, where they're talking about average true range today. Something that I completely ignore, but maybe I shouldn't. But, oh, wow, there goes Tesla. No idea what the average true range is on this one, but we know what's happening right here. It's spinning that money around and around and around. 4 for 4 today, only getting better. We're getting better and better, I feel like, every single day. And in this business, that's honestly what matters, right? Because it doesn't matter what you did yesterday, it matters what you're doing today. And if you can grow as a trader, then you know.
Actually, on that note,
you're doing pretty well.
There's a clip in the podcast. You can watch the podcast in full, which I always suggest that everybody do. But there's a specific clip in the podcast which states it was more you guys just talking about like staying in your lane and staying focused, how not to waste time. How to stay in that lane, how to stay focused, how to have that laser sharp focus. And remember, do you. It's always easy to see like what's going on around you and all those distractions. Like you'll see me there. Like Rivian, I just got into Rivian. It just bounced off that 15 area. Gotta watch. There was a big seller at 1535. Right where there was support, it turned into immediate resistance. So it's like, do we need to get more out there? Yes, scalp it out because it's downward trending. So stay in your pocket, focus on the decisions that you have to make in the moment. And in this moment, we need to go to Adara over at the big screen. They usually put...
Not a ton of names here that are notably strong. The only sector with a few more green names than red or gray ones is going to be transportation. We have FedEx nicely to the upside after its earnings, taking UPS up with it. Tesla also strong here in an otherwise a little bit more subdued consumer durable sector. Retail trade, we have Amazon and Walmart, bit of an upside here. And of course, electronic technology always needs to be mentioned. NVIDIA and a lot of these other chips to the downside, but Broadcom pretty strong here. Apple strong after that Rosenblatt upgrade. And MU positive and also on watch with Micron's earnings tonight. A little bit more kind of flat here for this communication services sector. Health technology, a little bit more mixed to flat, and lots of negativity in sectors like finance, producer manufacturing, consumer services, commercial services, energy, minerals, and utilities. So lots of red, not a lot of upside today, except for that transportation sector after that FedEx earnings report, guys.
We haven't even looked at FedEx. And like that's sometimes earnings plays are great. Other times it's a stock you know might not be interested in. Amazon just tagged. I heard Sharif say it like 15 seconds ago that Amazon tagged an all-time high. It hadn't quite done it. It is now at an all-time high. Amazon just continues to work. It was a breakout that did one stage yesterday. It was my pick of the week. It did 2 days ago. It did one stage yesterday, then dipped. Now it's making the break. It was 88.5 in the 191. It's just pulled that 191 and continues to ride the caravan to the upside with the rest of the market. So back above that 20,000 level. You know the drill for me. When you're above 20,000, no reloads on anything short. So here's VWAP on Micron. If it takes it out, I get out. and it's just slightly above. I mean, VWAP to me is around, it's just a line in a chart. I'm usually going to give it to a local high underneath or the even, so that'll be that 50 level. And there you go. Like, my hands are off the keyboard. Didn't have to get back into this one again. If I got immediately back in, would have been good. We could have gone 3 times into this, but I only took it twice. We went over to AMD because I liked AMD better in that moment. So yeah, I think it was right to get into AMD. Now I just got to play the patience game. This is another one which could still set up. It's a much weaker name. We'll pull back to 159 and just say that's going to be the level and stick with it. Rivian, it's still holding 15, but 15, 30, it's not a brick wall of size, but when it gets there, there's a lot of refreshing from 30 to 35. Orders just keep coming back in. All it has to do is crack that, then I think you see 50, and then you see VWAP on RIVN, 27% up. But remember, this thing was up 40-something%. So it has been selling off here for most of the day.
All right. I don't know. Looking for some more ideas. It's 10:47 right now. Is there anything that? Okay, so everyone keeps talking about Amazon. I mean, we just sort of looked at that a little bit. Now it's breaking. Now it's all-time highs for Amazon. Like, so the past all-time high was no, sorry, it's not all-time highs yet. Is it one?
Oh, I thought it was
191.70. So we're right here, right now. 191.70 is the all-time high for AMZN.
69
so
it touched.
you can, so you can either fade that right now or just continue its upside push, up 3%. As you know what, like these, and I just selfishly just checked the account. Like, you know, these NASDAQ names here, like it's just one all-time high after another, after another, after another. And it's crazy because it's like, you know, yes, last week it was Apple. A couple days ago it was NVIDIA. Today, Microsoft again. Just absolute 450 for Microsoft. Like, are you kidding me? That name was down to 380 or something like that. Right there, 391 a month and a half ago. You know, straight up for Microsoft. All-time damn high today for Microsoft right there. Meta as well. I mean, what is Meta's high? 520 and change, I believe. So we're getting pretty close to Meta. 531 all-time high for Meta right there. Shooting distance, right? This is the next one. This one will be at all-time highs very, very soon, Meta. We saw Google yesterday, right? Again, all-time, this one took me by surprise. Honestly, I didn't even realize that this one was doing that well. I thought it was consolidating. We had talked about that. And then a couple weeks ago, we had Danielle Shea on, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to ask her about, there was like 4 or 5 different names, and I chose Google, and it was because I was thinking about this breakout. Missed it yesterday, definitely took me by surprise there yesterday. All right, and by the way, right there, we had just put this on. Guess what just made a dollar club play? Tesla. I mean, right there it is now $1.05 in the money. Buy the strong names. Buy the strong names. So right here, 4 for 4, all real big man. $1 club in Tesla, $1 club in Rivian, $3 club in Nvidia, and then bottom and top for Robinhood. That bottom is $22.50. That top is $23.30. So today, again, a decent day. Hopefully getting a lot better, especially with the midday, and especially right now with money talks.
DXY continuing this upward trajectory after basing out a bit here in early June, pushing higher. We did get a little bit of economic data today, including new home sales for the month of May coming in for this revised number, negative 11.3% versus the prior print of positive 2%, so a bit lower here than that previous number. New home sales for May also coming in a bit lower than expected and lower than the prior number, 619,000 versus 636,000 estimated and 698,000 prior. Not a lot of economic data coming in through the rest of the day. Tomorrow we'll actually get that final quarterly GDP number, so that will be something to watch tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Then on Friday we get the Fed's preferred inflation gauge. That's going to be the PCE, so certainly something to keep an eye on there. Also worth noting, I mentioned this a little bit earlier as well, but we do have the Japanese yen. This is the JPY to USD relationship. It's at a 38-year low, lowest level since the 1980s. We did have one of these top officials with regards to the banking saying that, Canada saying that they are looking for some kind of intervention here, saying that not to push this lower. We do have these moves lower here, though, for the yen on the DXY here, 38-year lows, guys.
All right, the DXY.
But you know what? Today, has it mattered, like strength in the US dollar? Has it really mattered to the market? Not really. So like we talk about these relationships. I went on like a small rant about economics and how sometimes you have something that makes sense and other times it doesn't even matter. As a day trader, who cares? I think you just try to play the price action to the best of your ability. Rivian, it did make a break of that 30 to 35 area, got up to 45 and then ran into trouble again. So it couldn't break 50. I just took more out at 40 because that's what seemed prudent. It hasn't been trending up outside of that initial dip into 14.5, and I don't wonder if we're not headed back into 14.5. You're getting lower highs, and if you're short this one, you anticipate that it could be a dip buy. We talk about this. Oh, I like this stock for a dip buy. There are days where you think it might dip, and you like the stock, you like the story, so you're looking for an opportunity to go long. It works. I'm up on it, but sometimes the short is pretty good too. I feel like if this had been NIO making the same move, I probably would have been interested in the short. So your personal bias can get the best of you here. I think maybe it did for me on Rivian. Like why, if you think it's going to pull back, you probably could have just had like a 16 break. If it doesn't work right away, so be it. And then you wait for that 15 area. So that's what we did. Let's see if it can now start to get to the upside. And maybe there's going to be a 123 on NVIDIA. I say maybe because it's double bottoming as we speak. 123 was a level I kind of like the most, and if we see it, we're going to take our shot at it. So we're just in Faraday, Rivian, Carvana. While everything else was going, Carvana was real sneaky here. It's now at the 129. It's almost a 52-week high for Carvana. It put it in yesterday, so forget about this 129 even. It's like 129.40 something or 50 that it has to break. I'm looking for this sucker to take 130. I didn't pay for locates if it fails a breakout of this high. Like it breaks the high yesterday and doesn't get to 130. I consider that like a fail break and I would short it. But for now, I am looking for that long in Carvana, which is lulling us to sleep and suddenly waking up a little bit here.
I'm just flat out embarrassed because I was at 124.20. That went to 124.21. I wasn't even paying attention. NVIDIA came right into that level. That's so stupid. I missed it by 1 penny. So we'll play some FOMO and buy some now at 80. But wow. Wow, that was a good position that we were trying to put on there too. Oh, that's embarrassing because we probably could have doubled our net if we just got that fill and we were 1 penny away. Oh man, that sucks. Oh well. Wasn't paying attention. I actually got details about the London trip, so I was reading over that. We're off to London at the beginning of August, so the wife and I. So we just.
I'm interested what's in the package for that. Like.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. So we'll be enjoying that. And I'll be seeing hopefully some of you guys around
Big
there.
Ben.
Yeah, we're only going for. It's supposed to be 7 days, but we're only going for 5 because I have baseball commitments. So we have that, and yeah, so we're only going for 5, but it should be a lot of fun. Right now, we'll spend some of our Tesla money over there as well as this one having a nice move up. Now that's $1 in the money there. Wow, that just came in. Oh, wow, that was a big miss there on NVIDIA. Ah, well, nice move back in, though. We're still long down here. Let's just take something out. That's embarrassing. I don't even have it up. I was looking at Robinhood there and Rivian, which we got out, and I was trying to look at Amazon as well as. Remember, we called that move on Amazon at that high, right? It faded right off of its all-time high to the penny, pretty much. Oh, man, I'm mad about that. I'm not happy. I'm not mad, but I'm not happy that we'd missed that NVIDIA trade there by 1 penny. I still have it. I canceled it and now put it down there as well.
When
Hopefully
you said that price,
it.
I was like, no, I thought you were talking about Carvana because Carvana has literally the same low, 124.20 something.
Yeah.
So I just finished talking about Carvana. I'm like, oh, that would have been a redonkulous dip buy in Carvana. No, I was waiting for 23, so I was never on that bid.
Good job, Brad.
Unfortunately. But so 130, it's here right now on Vana. We have about 3 minutes to go. FFIEs, if it gets to 50, I'm taking a little bit more out. But if Carvana breaks 130, this either works right away or it could absolutely dump it. I'm not saying it's going to halt if it fails down, but if it breaks 130 and fails this break, I think you see 128 bucks. So any dip buy would be a separate trade. It would be a fail break. I'll get out, run underneath like the quarters or so, and then look for something. If everyone gets rinsed, just look for something back at 128 bucks or VWAP if we want to join it. So Carvana making some power moves. It looks like it's the newest one. The NASDAQ seems to want that 20,000 again. Not that it matters for Carvana, but we are right here, right now. 52-week high for Carvana. If I accidentally say all-time highs, it's because I forget how ridiculous the stock has been in the past.
Oh, Carvana, yeah. All right. Look, we've already sort of talked about some of the trades that we're going to be in. What was there? Okay, so Tesla already, I mean, that's booming, man. That's $1.25 in the money. Let's just look at PLTR just real quick. So it does fade off that same high again. A pretty dead stock, but a name that we always look at. So nothing happening today for Palantir. We'll go puff, puff, pass on that one. And then just wait to see if there's anything happening for the high. I would rather go long, especially on a NASDAQ. Well, what is the NASDAQ? Up 0.2? Flat. Okay, so I don't know. We still want to go long at 24, so that would be a level there for us. Not going to look at the SMH. We've already sort of dug our bed a little bit here with NVIDIA, so we'll make our bed with that one. We don't want to dig a hole. DKNG, this has been on my radar for a minute. Was hoping that it would start to pop up at some point. We've been wanting to really fade this name. I mean, it's amazing that we've been looking short for DraftKings for so long. There was that one day that we were in it, and then it got that Penn news and popped against us a minute. But this stock over the last 4 or 5 days, which we've talked about over and over and over again, I really like this name. I like it especially back into here. So this is a dip buy that I'm pretty sure we want to do with DKNG. Let me just check it out. What time is it? 10:58. Let me just check out when DraftKings earnings are, because I never want to get a stock, like I was saying about Micron. I think Micron is going to be huge tonight, by the way, but it's just a matter of like, that's just what I think. To take a shot uneducated there, I don't know. August 1st, so DraftKings is still quite the ways away, and so NVIDIA's pulling back now. That's fine. Hopefully we get that long now. But here comes Micron. So again, nice move heading into earnings. Got that bump above 150. We like that 150 trade. We had that 150 that one day when it broke up. We actually got on the pull back in and then it back up. And right now we've looked at, was it 134, right? Yeah, so right there. We're not going to forget about that level tonight. 134 for Micron. We'll see. The expected move is probably 6 or 7%. So, you move there $14, you're going to move $7 at least. So yeah, that brings it back into 134.
I'd take the over if it's 7. I'd take the over.
I think it's probably something like that.
Well, you know what?
I don't know.
It's the only one in town. We don't really care too much about BlackBerry. Yep. I'll probably make it, when we do the market recap show, I'll probably make a joke or two about BlackBerry. So I'll save them for those moments. And then Levi's is the other one out there.
They're reporting to BlackBerry? Okay.
I mean...
did NVIDIA just break?
The only reason anyone cares, because every now and then BlackBerry goes at the same time that the meme stocks go, but it's not even a meme stock anymore. Clover, I just heard.
They're reporting?
They report. I'll double check. I didn't think, that was Fabian in my ear just saying Clover, and I don't know why.
No, he didn't say that. He said you're over. Oh,
we're over, rollover. I thought you were talking about another meme stock when I'm talking about the meme. So yeah, it's 11 o'clock. There goes Vana. We're in and out. Looks like it wants to try to go again, so we'll get back into the 130. But it's 11 o'clock. Let's talk a little bit more about ATR with Adara and Sharif. Go get them.
What is up, beautiful people? He didn't say Clover. He said